Welcome, poets and family. You know what it is. Finally, Thursday has come back. Pull up a Zoom box, grab a microphone, and get comfortable. It's about to go down. Oh, yeah. Yeah, come on. Good morning, good evening, and welcome to this online open mic presented by the legendary, the legendary New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I am your host. My name is Elemen2al. Happy Thursday. This is the jump off, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. You know how we do. You know what this is. And guess what? Here comes another one. Episode 34 coming right at you. Every Thursday, we do this. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on one of these streams, and we truly appreciate you, and you would like to join us in the Zoom, the number's on your screen, 977-539-856. Jump in, join the greatest community in the world. Want to know why I say that? Trust and believe we're going to show you this evening. We do this and been doing this and doing this and doing it well week after week, thanks to some dedicated folks who pay these bills. All right. So we would like to thank the New York State Department of Cultural Affairs and the Howard Gilman Foundation for hosting our free online events. You can add your energy to the mix with a tax-deductible donation by going to neweurekan.org/contribute. Every dollar counts. Trust and believe, and we truly, truly appreciate it. Make sure you are plugging in with the dopest tech in the Zoomverse, the one and only Ron Mark Thompson, a.k.a. RMT. If you're not down with RMT by now, damn it, you should be. That cat's all the way dope. He is, listen, that's why we do this. Appreciate you, Ron. Elemen2al.com is where you can find me. Take out the T, put in the number 2, elemen2al.com. So many things going on, folks. Tonight's theme, counting money. Y'all know what this is, right? The cost of $1, right? There's so much to money, right? And that's why the opening quote was just that, right? And if you don't know, that piece is by one of the great Amiri Baraka, his poem "Money." It's amazing. I implore you to check it out. So tonight's theme is just that, right? Is the amount of money that we have in our bank accounts today the same amount that our grandparents had in those coffee cans? Right? Do they cost the same? Do they weigh the same? Right? Like I remember those things, right? Turn around now, right? Like Gator, right? In Jungle Fever, like turn around now. Let me get this money out this can, right? So that's what it's really about. All right. If your work is not on theme this evening, that is still totally cool. All right. We are still looking forward to all of the incredible work that you're willing to share with us this evening. Next week's theme coming at y'all. Relaxation. How do you unplug yourself? Now, this is not just, oh, you know what I mean? I'm taking a staycation and I'm just going to put my phone down for 5 minutes, right? I'm talking about a complete disconnection from what we do in our everyday lives, right? What does that look like? What does that taste like to you? What does that sound like for you, right? And when you hear it, how do you know that you're there, right? So that's what we're going to be looking at next week. Finding the Zen, even if you will, right? But how do you unplug yourself, right? What does relaxation really, really look like for you? So again, a couple of things coming up very soon, right? A couple of things, right? That dealer's choice. Woo! The hand you're dealt. Oh my goodness. Gonna be fun, folks. Let's get to the rules so we can get to the artistry this evening. Artists, turn your cameras on. We are trying to simulate a live open mic as much as absolutely possible. Plus, we love to see all the beautiful exuberance that goes into your performance. So turn your cameras on. As you're getting ready to rip, have your artwork ready. All right. If you're playing music, all right, and our resident musicians are in the building, make sure your music is original and you have on the original sound for musicians. All right. We don't want the agents of the interweb interfering with our stream in any way. All right. That would mean anything that you're broadcasting, any videos that you're broadcasting, any music that you're broadcasting. If they will cause a problem, we cannot have it. All right. We need to screen it possibly before just to make sure we don't catch those issues. We don't want those agents up in our business. Y'all know what it is. So have your artwork ready. 3 minutes, folks. Have your work ready to rock. Have it condensed to 3 minutes. You got a 30-second intro to let the world know what's going on. Also, make sure you are changing your Zoom name to coincide how you want people to connect with you. All right. We are all about community in this building, folks, and we are going to maintain and keep that going. All right. We have reached night 9:30 for the babies, folks. All right. There are some explicit lyricists in this building. All right. Some may bring about some triggering flashbacks, but the founders of our cafe were major proponents on the freedom of speech, and we will make sure it maintains in the vein of everything we do. Therefore, there is no censorship. I'm so serious about that shit. There is no censorship. Other than any hate speech or any ism that people may use to manipulate, which will not, I said not, be tolerated. There is no censorship. All right. Shout out Ray Jane, Queen, Thunderlung. Listen, don't get cute because you will get the RMT boot. Trust and believe. This is a true call and response space. All right. After these artists get up here and they share a true essence of who they are, you will see this pop up on your screen. This is when you get a chance to share all of that energy with the room, all of that exuberance. Don't worry about the noise, y'all. It's the rowdiest night of the week anyway. You know what's going on NFL Network right now? Trust and believe. Don't worry about the noise, folks. All that energy will be returned to you in the performances of each and every artist this evening. So make sure you give it up and share that energy. All right. The guaranteed list tonight is closed. All right. Sign up begin 24 hours before the show, which would be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. To sign up, you go to neweureka.org. You click on full events calendar. You click on a Thursday that you want to rock. All right. You need an artist RSVP ticket to get down. All right. It's the only way you're getting on the guaranteed list, and they will not even show up until 24 hours before the show. And listen, it's hot. All right. So make sure you jump in. All right. If you're in the tri-state area, make sure you are plugging in with the New Eureka Bowery Slam, hosted by Jay Rose, sometimes by Matthew Marroquin. Shout out Luna Rosa. It goes down in that space for real. Also, the open mic hosted by Supreme at the Lower East Side Center definitely goes down. The final Fridays, I believe, is over. That's my apologies on that. The comedy, jokes. Listen, I have shout out to Vulcan, man, my partner. We talk about it all the time. The parallel worlds of comedians and poets. Have that conversation with some folks that you know, folks. It's an interesting one, for real. Open mics all over the place. Listen, make sure you know. And then shout out Storm Gods in the building, right? Paul Conqueso with a karaoke open mic. Shout out all the way in the BX. It's going down, y'all, for real. Tonight's list, all these incredible artists that came to rock and share their genius with us. So let's get to it, folks. There's all my rowdy friends on Thursday night. It's great to see y'all. What? I see you, Abraham Kamani. LA in the building. Blacksmith is here. Catman is here, right? Jenny, what up? The maestro is here. Elizabeth Horn is here. Baba's here. All these great, incredible. Listen, if you don't know these folks, I implore you to learn each and every one of them because you're going to learn something from them, right? They're going to enlighten you in some way or another. And listen, I see you already, right? Before I could even get to introducing you, I see the smile pop up on your face, sir, because he's going to be setting us off this evening, right? So let's get to it. Coming up first, as I'm putting the list in the chat this evening, this cat has always got a rhyme that's always right on time, and I love it when he comes through with it because he's always so cool with it, or maybe I should say so smooth with it. The one and only Eddie Foreman in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, Eddie. Always great to see you. Come on, man, set it off this evening.
Thank you, my bro. Like no other words like thunder. Hello, my name is Ed Potasso, Fantastic. Please tell me you can join my rhyme for sublime. I got two short pieces. I won't take too much time. This is from our wonderful Mike Center's workshop at Tumble Words. This is called Greed and Need. I can't live without poetry. It's rare inside you and me. I don't need anything else, maybe insight or a belt. I'm not a collector of wealth. I play the cards I've been dealt. I remember I was poor. It balanced my red core. Hate some collectors, fight and take to feel even better. You pay how much for those shoes? Did you get at least a trip or a cruise? How much you pay for that dress? Are you that eager to quickly impress? How much you pay for that car? That Tesla isn't going to take you far. You pay how much for that ring? Did they at least give you golden rings? You pay how much for that art? Where's your Continental go-kart? You pay how much for that mate? With or minus the one-time only estate. We are the monsters we feed. Buy whatever you want, but please, some humanity. The less fortunate needs money too, for a plate of stew or to warn off the flu. Thank you. And my second piece is called Black Hole. I was in debt before. I cried long downpours, giving them all that I am, but lost one to Sam. I was a younger fool, did anything to be cool. I just wanted pure love, yet screamed to the skies above. That is a huge black hole, swallowing everything whole. My plastic key was dried. My bank account was denied. My life was empty. The lovers didn't offer sympathy. A dear friend shine a light of heart with insight. They may take your integrity, but not your dignity. You're broken, but life moves on. The regrets will make you strong. I'm now alive and debt free. I'm living without additional fees. Life is full of crazy wonders, offering sun, then thunder. Life is but a mist and a mystery. Thank you all for hearing my poetry. Thank you.
What? Life is a mist and a mystery? Damn it, Eddie. What? This dude, unmute yourself. Give it up for Eddie Foreman.
Oh, Eddie, you make
Good job, Eddie.
Hell yeah,
Good
brother.
job. Your rhymes are the best of times, you know.
There you go.
I'm living without additional fees.
Right. There was the best of times and there were Eddie's rhymes, right? Like, I appreciate you so much for what you do, Eddie, because you've stayed so dedicated to it, right? In the midst of all the poets and all of the different people who tried to influence your writing and change who you are and say, yo, Eddie, maybe like, nah, this is who I am. And you stayed dedicated to it and you continued to cultivate it. That's why I love your work, Eddie. Really. Said in the first piece, said, I'm not a collector of wealth, right? You paid how much for those shoes? I had a student that said most expensive shoes, $7,000. For a middle school student, folks. Who they got, yeah, you know, they were actually 11,000, but they got them for 7. So I appreciate that. That Tesla isn't going to take you that far. True indeed. True indeed. There's a story behind that one too. And the second piece, black hole. My bank account was denied. Sometimes it does do that. right? Because if you have less than $20 in your account, you can't even talk to the ATM. The ATM is bougie like that. It doesn't even give you less than $25. Oh, because you got to pay the ATM fee first. You're broken, but life moves on, right? A dear friend shines a light. I truly appreciate that, and I can speak to that because sometimes it does take a dear friend to shine a light and save you. Thank you, Eddie. Truly appreciate you for what you do, for setting us off this evening. Starship's underway. Let's keep it going. As I mentioned already, the blacksmith is in the building. This incredible gentleman continues to come through. And listen, talking about shining a light, this dude also shouts out a very, very key fixture in a crazy, tumultuous world. The one and only Michael Sindler is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It's always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I won't mention that, but before I do, I would like to say that there really isn't a more brilliant and shining positive light than Eddie to start off with. So really, really enjoyed that. But that other light is lighthouseriders.org, which is a wonderful organization full of all kinds of great stuff going on for any kind of writer at any stage of where you are. Got new classes about to start this week and in the next coming couple of weeks, some new stuff coming up that's well worth doing. I wanted to go ahead and start this week with this poem because for some reason within the middle of all this politics and everything, we seem to have forgotten a major point in history that changed everything. And this is called August 45. The first one they remember, mon amour, how sad. Gay Enola wiped away 70,000 that August day. But less than 80 years later, 40,000 more died. More moaning survivors suffered, more unconsolable mourners cried. Hiroshima, Nagasaki taught the world the end could always be near. Somewhere in our reptilian brains resides a constant fear. We picture Bikini Atoll, hydrogen mushrooms sprouting flame, but it's always Hiroshima that lingers as sorrow's refrain, though poor Nagasaki also felt the pain. Let's bow our heads for all the dead and all they left behind, and may compassion lead us forward. May the future be more kind. From rubble, from ashes, let us learn, let us grow. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, as it is above, is as it is below. And I don't really write about money. And so this is like the closest thing I could find. I don't write about money. It's just not my thing. So this is called 100 Different Rivers. If she hadn't had to leave her village, if the soldier hadn't raped her outside her home with a crowd looking on, if she wasn't afraid her little girl would be next, if she hadn't walked and walked her daughter in a makeshift cradle on her back, if she hadn't filled her jug from 100 different rivers, if she hadn't eaten scraps from the hands of strangers, sometimes out of their garbage cans, if she hadn't slept on hard ground with one worn woolen blanket, spooning her daughter to keep her warm, if she hadn't kept walking through rains that turned roads into thick red mud, if she hadn't hidden in ditches, hand over her child's mouth while military convoys went by with insignias of each country she marched through, combating weariness and fever and thirst and hunger and despair that she kept hidden from her daughter, if she hadn't made it to the U.S. border, if she hadn't been caged up with hundreds of others from a dozen different nations, wondering what was to come, knowing only it was better than the sure death they had left behind. If some sadistic politician from state half a country away had not put her and her daughter on a bus to another state 2,000 miles to the north, if she hadn't been dropped on the street with only the clothes on her back and her daughter in her arms in winter in a place so much colder than her semi-tropical homeland, if she could have found help before the temperature dropped below freezing, if the snow hadn't covered the city, if her daughter hadn't caught pneumonia, if the wait at the emergency room wasn't so long, if she had insurance. What was insurance? Nothing in her life had ever been sure. If she didn't lose her daughter there in the hospital, if they didn't say she should have come in sooner, if she didn't fall to pieces, if she didn't strike out in senseless grief, if the police didn't put her in a cell until she could be brought to court to be told she would be sent back to the country she thought she had escaped from, if none of that had happened, she would have had a wonderful life. So we'll let somebody else come back to the Eddie side of things and make us happy. I couldn't do it today.
You know what? Happiness comes in the form of a Michael Sindler poem. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Michael Sindler.
Thank you, Michael Sindler.
Your sensitivity
brother.
is always like one of the gracing expressions of humankind. And so I'm very happy to know you on this side of poetry, because that kind of sensitivity makes me wish that people facing these circumstances could jump in the Zoom and hear you speak about them, and how that sensitivity is the defining humanity of our world. One love.
Yeah, this is why Michael Sindler, is known as a blacksmith here. He's like, an anvil. This guy is like a real anchor in this room, bringing us, just solid, real poetry all the time.
All the time. Yes.
Thank you so much, community. Listen, I think it's important for you to not just hear my voice, sir, but for your colleagues to tell you how much they appreciate your work, right? Your contemporaries to remind you that what you're doing is meaningful, right? That the breath of life that you're breathing into it is being felt, is being heard, right? And accepted by the people that are doing the same work, right? So thank you, right? Thank you, Zomkonto, Storm Gods in the building. That dude does that. Thank you to the Jedi Master. We'll hear from both of those cats. Listen, when you do what you do, sir, like you said, as Sorrow's refrain, as a songwriter, I love that, right? If Sorrow was singing a song, what would Sorrow's refrain be? Just love that. May the future be more kind, right? Let us learn, let us grow, right? Hopefully. In 100 Different Rivers, you said, if the soldiers hadn't raped her, right? Filled her jugs from 100 different rivers, hunger and thirst and despair hidden from her daughter. And that automatically made me think of last week's theme about honoring parenthood. And it's those things. We sometimes don't know how strong our parents are because they were strong enough to keep it from us, even though they were in agony. Appreciate you, sir, for all that you do. Make sure you plug in with Lighthouse Writers, folks. That cat's amazing. Shout out, Beat Poet Laureate, the one and only Michael Sindler. Appreciate you. Coming up next, oh yeah, brother, This next artist is gonna come through, coming off the top rope on you, brother, with a 100, with a crippler crossface. It could be a frog splash. It could be a people's elbow, brother. You have no idea what's coming at you. The one and only Dre Ray is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, brother. Always great to see you. Come on, man. Take it away.
Well, let me just say it's great to be back here. Finally, work has allowed me to have a goddamn night off here on a Thursday night. What's happening, everybody? Holy shit. Yeah, holy shit indeed. So, what's happening? Well, let me just post real quick in the group chat what's happening. So, tomorrow at Open Minds, Open Mic, and just note that all these events are going to be in the same Zoom room in each flyer. Tomorrow we got Joski C featuring on Open Minds, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The following day we got the Slam Jam, we got a Slam Workshop and Open Mic with special guest coach Balance. And if you aren't in the know who Balance is, you're going to find out, and it's going to be a wonderful time finding out. And of course, every Monday night, 8 p.m., we got Chaos Magic. Everybody's welcome. All performance artists are welcome to do their thing in all these events. With that said, let's get into the poetry. So, with that said, I got a fun piece to start off with, and maybe I could fit in 2 pieces, hopefully. So, I'm gonna try out something different in terms of the delivery of this. You'll see. It's about Beanie Babies. Stampedes of crazed adults, trampling children, storming shells in the fashion of Allied forces, storming Normandy Beach. Grown-ass adults investing their life savings into purchasing the rarest of their kind, only to lose almost all the value of their collection. A New Hampshire couple thought they hatched a dope idea by forging checks to purchase and sell them for a profit. To purchase heroin. Now flooding hospital donation bins, Goodwill and Savers locations nationwide, and the closets of unfortunate heirs of a lost fortune, Beanie Babies were the Bitcoin of the 1990s. These limp sacks of understuffed animals now face a more grim future, being the filling of bean bag chairs, as their owners had developed a fetish of sitting on the carcasses of their friends, mainly as a way to achieve a dopamine rush by exacting revenge on their failed investments of hopes and dreams through imprisonment, utter dominance, and occasional gas torture by way of flatulence. In a movement as bizarre as the movement that birthed it, the kink is known by different names, depending on region. Beanie Baby chambering has taken the North American furry communities by storm in a similar fashion that Queenie babying was popularized by the royal family. Beanie Baby Kinkaroo has shook Japan's kink worlds to its core, to the point that cyberpunk cinema is experiencing a renaissance. The ripples of influence even stretch out throughout India, as new positions were included in the revised edition of the Kama Sutra, named after some of the most popular Beanie Babies, with Squealer the Pig voted #1 in Cosmopolitan India's list of hottest positions to do with your partner this summer. It doesn't matter what you call it. At the end of the day, it's a yum that will be yucked a lot more than toes getting sucked, and an ever so evolving case study that is worth exploring, preferably from a distance. Poem. So there's that piece. And to completely shift gears, here's a more tame piece titled I Love the Word Chemistry. Let's both have a hand at the wheel, navigating the pathways we can take together. I have a lust for life and a passion for passion, and life has a funny old fashion of clashing a couple of souls swimming in the same old fishbowl on a path that leads to a whimsical, wholesome rabbit hole, falling madly, badly, and gladly, laughing maniacally, basking in the madness of it all, going full Bruce Lee into this like a 1-inch love punch that brings us to our knees, creating a new religion based on intimate spirituality. Let's explore in the style of a completionist gamer playing any RPG, leveling up and discovering new side quests at ease because we got experience points for weeks, and the idea of venturing into uncharted territory piques my interest heavily. I like new stories. Let's co-write and coexist in this romantic odyssey. The depth I'm willing to open for emotional penetration is infinite. How sturdy is your submarine? How durable is your equipment? How much can you handle before getting to the bottom of the candle? I hide nothing. So have at it at this all-you-can-eat buffet. Eat to your fill and your heart's content every day. Excuse me, my appetite may match yours in ways you didn't expect. Feed me your yin. Let's practice spiritual law and see what happens next. If you can bear me, I can easily bear you any and all vulnerabilities, road mapping traumas, triumphs, and tragedies that turn me into the anomaly that stands before thee. I don't want to make this travel any more difficult than it needs to be. So, fellow traveler, make camp here. You're safe with me. Let's both have a hand at the wheel as we get a better feel of this thing we call life together. No sales pitch, just the real deal. Poem. Thank y'all.
No sales pitch, just the real deal. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Dre. Ray.
Man, that was hardcore.
That
That was awesome.
that have added the all-you-can-eat buffet is just like one of those lines that when you visualize, you can, when you're inviting someone to eat all of this food of your own personal being, you know, that's like an invitation of all, of all sensation. It's beautiful. One love.
I don't hear toe sucking get mentioned at many poetry rooms. I give you points just for that.
Very good point.
I said all of that, and all you heard was toe sucking. Listen, I love it though. Like I love the detail. I love the intricate detail of that though, right? Because all of those things give you the whole body of the poem, right? The poem is 10 toes down in your thought process, right? The poem has 10 fingers wrapped around the paper and pen in which you wrote it in, right? So it is so much that, right? But you know, sucking on toes is something different. In the first poem, said lose almost all the value in their collection. Listen, even I saw shout out Dr. Z Page. So said that Beanie Babies were the Bitcoin of the 90s. Listen, even McDonald's got in on that racket. Right? Beanie Babies were a big damn deal. Seriously. I want to say, and listen, don't quote me on this, but I want to say that eBay even found an upswing in their business as it was starting because of the Beanie Baby business. Wasn't trying to do an alliteration right there. It just happened. He said Beanie Baby chambering is a thing. Queening babies, right, Dre? You said queening babies. Beanie Baby kinking, right? And the cyberpunks. A new position in the Kama Sutra. I learned something this evening, as I learned every damn Thursday evening, but that was the first one so far. They had a Beanie Baby addition to the Kama Sutra. Okay. In the second piece, I love the word chemistry. People who have a passion for passion. I love that line. I truly do. When you have a passion for passion, your passion goes further. A 1-inch love punch, shout out Kill Bill. Co-write and coexist in this romantic odyssey. Love that. Turns me into the anomaly standing before thee. No doubt about it. Appreciate you, Dre, for all that you do, for continuing to rock. Host of Chaos Magic, host of the Slam Jam. Snap into a Slam Jam because it's going down, brother. Appreciate you, Dre. Truly. All right. Coming up next, yo, it's been a while, but not so much, but it feels like it's been a while. Our resident superhero is in the building, author of Some Days Here I Like to Call the Daughter of Krypton. The one and only Finn Bell is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
It's good to see you, Poetry Family. I am on Instagram, Finn_Bell. I'd like to share 2 poems. The first one is borrowed from Sharon Creech. It's from her book, Love That Dog. Jack, Room 105, Miss Stretchberry. September 13, I don't want to because boys don't write poetry. Girls do. September 21, I tried. Can't do it. Brains empty. September 27, I don't understand the poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens and why so much depends upon them. If that is a poem about the red wheelbarrow and the white chickens, then any word can be a poem. You've just got to make short lines. October 4th, do you promise not to read it out loud? Do you promise not to put it on the board? Okay, here it is, but I don't like it. So much depends upon a blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road. October 10th, what do you mean? Why does so much depend upon a blue car? You didn't say before that I had to tell why. The wheelbarrow guy did not tell why. October 17. What was up with the Snowy Woods poem you read today? Why doesn't the person just keep going? If he's got so many miles to go before he sleeps, and why do I have to tell more about the blue car splattered with mud speeding down the road? I don't want to write about that blue car that had miles to go before it slept. So many miles to go in such a hurry. And finally, October 24th, I am sorry to say I did not really understand the tiger burning bright poem, but at least it sounded good in my ears. Here's the blue car with tiger sounds. Blue car, shining bright in the darkness of the night. Who could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky? I could see you in the night, blue car, shining bright. I could see you speeding by like a comet in the sky. Some of the tiger sounds are still in my ears like drums. Beat, beat, beating. Okay, so this one is brand new. Please forgive it. It is still a work in progress. It's all kinds of messy, but also all kinds of wonderful in its messy form. So it's called Departure. The term we have chosen, departure, means the action of leaving. In starting here, we create our falsehood. I resolve to remain rooted. When I decide this, I tell myself, I will this to be fact. I know I do not hold in me the outcome. Is this a softness of my part? Is this a softness on my part? A softness more to the recipient than to myself? Or does it make better sense the other way around? Can we easily interchange softness and weakness and still be having the same conversation? I do not know who to blame. If anyone emerges and claims the role of scapegoat, We assign the role of lamb in slaughter because we care not in existing uneasy and not understand who is to pity and who is to blame. We label everything within our reach, and here in this act, we can breathe a little easier. This denial a conceit we concocted, playing gods, eluding our shadows as they chased us, desiring to press shame down upon us, the weight revolting, all too familiar, all too human. This, my dazzling fabrication, blankets the dead earth. It looms, a briefly shimmering menace, obstructing the light from the sky. Perhaps departure truly means remaining where I already am and allowing the wind to take me with it on its journey or blow me over. Perhaps departure means letting go and not following capricious pathways. I circle the nexus of my being, treading cautiously, repeating patterns, packing down firm, sure soil beneath my feet. I plot this course again, once more endless dizzying. I do not falter. My own gravitational pull holds me within. I will be here, a stationary satellite of being, a freedom from seeking but not comprehending, a willing prisoner in a closed orbit of my own creation, in starting and ending here, a semblance of truth. Thank you.
Such a strange way that a soft-spoken person can just like steal all the air. This is crazy. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Finn Bell.
Yeah, it's also very special how someone can just give of their time to read someone else's work and breathe life into it.
That was
And
wonderful.
and you have like this vice grip on tenor phrase. Like you say some things that are so totally earth-shattering, you know. So listening to you is such an unimaginable joy because you do such beautiful like justice to the turn of phrase and language. That is so much to always look up to. Thank you.
Yeah. I think like quiet power is how I would describe you, goddess. Like you know, you're not yelling at us, you're not shouting at us, you are just gliding on your glide. And we have to work a little bit to hear it. And that's a good thing, but we want to because it's, you know, melodic and deep and gorgeous. So thank you for all you're giving.
Yeah, I always like what you're saying too, Elizabeth, because I think the essence of some of the strongest poetry is that it is contemplative. And I always say, you know, poetry is about getting people, giving the listener an opportunity to kind of be able to pause and reflect upon their own sensibilities, and that's what that quietness brings to you.
Yeah, it's like meeting us halfway. Like I'll do the work as the poet, you'll do the work as the listener, and I'll meet you in the middle. That's what Finn Bell's work feels like right now.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very, it's essentially meditative.
Yeah.
But
she's letting us in, you know, 100%.
Right. And that's the beautiful part about it. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your insight. Listen, again, this is why I say it's invaluable. This is why I say it's the greatest community in the world, because there is no ego here, people. There is no competition here, people. This is all about true love and community here, right? This is about building here, right? And what you just heard was, again, for the daughter of Krypton to hear from her contemporaries how much they appreciate her work and how it sinks into our bones when she reads it, right? And there's no one else that does what you do, right? You need to know that, right? I love the first, one of the early lines in the first poem, because I heard that too as a young cat. Boys don't write poetry, girls do. Hence the reason the boys that wrote poetry found themselves around girls. Right? Right? Um, you just got to make short lines, right? Why doesn't the person just keep going? I don't want to write about the blue car. The blue car. The blue car just stands out like a purple elephant. I love that. The tiger, right? Burning bright poem, shining bright like a comet in the sky. I love that. I love that. And the second piece, departure, right? The action of leaving, recreate our falsehood, right? I know I do not hold in me the outcome. The way that you weave words is incredible. My dazzling fabrication, the dead earth, not following capricious pathways, right? Of freedom from seeking. I do not falter. You know, shout out the vets in the building, right? Like failure is not an option. Shout out the vets in the building. Failure is not an option. Appreciate you, Finn Bell. Listen, if you don't know Finn Bell, make sure you plug in with Finn Bell and all that she does. She makes ways for so many poets and so many different platforms. Do yourself a favor, plug in to Finn Bell. Appreciate you. Great to see you. Coming up next, this cat continues to come through in the midst of all of his fatherly duties. He continues to come through and write incredible poetry and share it with us. The one and only, the incredible Rich Glennon is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Elemen2al, hey everybody. Rich Glennon on Instagram and Tumblr. First piece I will read is Trash. It's called Trash Days. One garbage can is plenty for the old lady who lives next to me. With a cane in her other hand, she wheels it out, then wheels it in the next day in the same way. A ping pong ball crawling back and forth upon a seesawing table tennis court. I've never offered assistance, though the mere thought provides assurance. Of course, this resistance is exercise for her, for everyone really, but she's experienced enough to notice. To take it from her would mean a bullet between her eyes, stripping her of purpose. Better to let her tortoise up and down the drive, working the burden so the empty will be curbed when the heavy subsides. This next one is called The Butterfly. The butterfly flies beside me for half a stride, but he sees where this is going and cuts me off to dangle in fretful cursive upon the upcoming faceful of air, a backward signature whose barbs stir and scar, designed they are to deliver lines reserved for the wandered, like uncarved bark. All right, and this last one is called Bookshelf. Like us, they come in all statures, and we tend to choose one whose height ours matches. No matter their features, if they're thin or fat, the books lock together like blocks because they're flat. A jigsaw puzzle pieced together like squares on a calendar. Every muzzle fits a back. Still, their length will disrupt the uniformity. But bumps are normal and shouldn't cause calamity. And if you retreat 2 paces, and ponder the pied colors of your life's time-bound rose. A chunky rainbow will untangle from the neat confines of your rectangle that hopefully you find acceptable. All right, thank you.
Now, how in the world am I going to try to create in my brain or even describe this chunky rainbow that you just created? Damn it, damn it. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Rich Glennon.
Rich just goes to certain depths and with a softness. Like, I mean, I think I don't think that submarines go in that depth with that kind of softness. You know, you just like have a certain softness and richness of meaning that just is so like mind blowing, and that's such a beautiful thing to witness every time.
No doubt about it. Like what you do, sir. And listen, you say he keeps it at that tone, right? Because he's got babies who are trying to go to sleep, right? School is in effect, right? The bell rings very early in the morning, right? Gotta be there. So yeah, I appreciate what you do, sir, for staying dedicated to your writing and your artistry and your creativity while still being the best dad in the world. Truly. I love that first poem because it reminds me of my mom. Shout out moms. For real. The mere thought provides reassurance, yes. To take it from her would be a bullet between her eyes. And for those of you who don't have mothers who relish in just the joy of taking out the damn trash, that line is very heavy, sir. That sentiment is very heavy, and you were absolutely on the money. Let that woman take out her trash until she says, baby, can you take this for me? Then by all means, I got it. Until then, hold the door open. That's all you can do, for real. Designed they are to deliver in the butterfly. I love that, right? Butterflies serve a purpose. Bookshelf. I love how you said we choose a bookshelf whose height matches our own. Like I love that. Like I never thought about that. They come in all statures, right? Books. They come together like flocks. And then of course the chunky rainbow. I'm still trying to figure that out. A chunky rainbow. What does a chunky rainbow look like? Like I appreciate you, Rich. Love to the family, love to the babies. Truly appreciate you, sir, for what you do and continuing to share it with us. Coming up next, this incredible artist continues to come through. I am glad they found their way back to us on a regular basis because what they do is incredible. I think their voice is a very unique one and one that we need to hear. So, as often as they can, I like to shout them out. So great to see you. The one and only Dr. Z Page in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please, take it away.
Thanks. I find it ironic that the last two poets were praised for their quiet style. I picked a poem that's quite the opposite. This one's about my Italian American family, so you know I'm loud. This one's called "Leave the Trauma, Take the Cannoli." Funny to be teased by bullies from the good old families over a dish of manicotti. Their votes kill me, and then my rage at the dinner table is vetoed as too much sensitivity. They'll shout that fags are worth shipping to the edge of society while they raise their right hand and recite the credo, I'm not homophobic, but. Then black sheep like me are liberally ostracized and confined by snarling dogs chomping on cigars labeled with misogyny. It's just the way uncles are raised, we say, as if progress cannot be measured by reducing the degree of Trumpism bred into the generations of our genes. Oh, the irony to yell unnecessarily with love, like too much oil on Italian hoagies made by men baking bread with toxic masculinity. Rugged husbands cry criticism over the cooking of women, bearing souls by the loaves and boys by the boatload. Males deliver cannolis by the creamful without hitting their wives' tonsils. Their anger incites cardiac disease like the cholesterol packed into their brazil. Secretly, we all think each other are assholes. I learned this was normal in childhood. Growing up, my mom would sick my father when I spoke disrespectfully. Although it's comforting to get an apology after an ample spanking, I'm still figuring out how this punishment screwed my adult sexuality. My dad would pat my back when I sobbed anxiety, then turn to claim my mental health ruined his retirement. I was told the only way to live was to practice monogamy starting at the age of 16. Anything else was blasphemy. Now they have a tattooed child teaching kinky sex as part of a job practicing psychotherapy. There's a conflict between the parts they're proud of and ashamed of me. I've taken years to escape the chains of codependency with the threat of autonomy. Meanwhile, the ignorant are most concerned by education from teachers thinking independently, kids talking with minorities, and challenges to gender supremacy. They'll steal school books and human rights from the Constitution, but never our self-agency, because they're the WAPs without papers that are ordinary to human biology. Tradition dictates a waste of youth's creativity. So I'll baptize future children with the water of wisdom, siphoning power from the Roman Catholic monarchy. They'll never take my gender identity, even when burning in infernos dreamt by Dante. Despite how much cock I take in my pussy, I'm still the godfather of my own life, and I'll put what I want into me. I'll leave the table after grace, my plate still full, and find a new home to eat heartily, knowing as in the Lord's Prayer, my will be done. Thank you.
I mean, I don't give a damn how you feel about it. You got to respect it. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Dr. Z. Hey.
Yeah. That's hot, man.
Yeah, can you invite me to the next meal? Because I really want to experience that firsthand.
We'd all like to come.
The intensity of honesty about people's own experience is something to admire.
Hell yeah. But I mean, the craft that went along, I mean, I consider this kind of like not a confessional poem. I hate when people use that word, but it's very personal, you know. But you had the poetry to back up what you were doing, and loud or not, I mean, you delivered it beautifully. Do you know what I mean? And like you had rhyme in just the right places. I loved it. I'm really impressed with that. I loved it.
It was very powerful piece. I really love that you said baptized with the water of wisdom. And I also love that you were emphasizing on your roots in different way, the godfather of my life. That was very crafty and very creative. So thank you for not just teaching us your wisdom, your perspective and aspect to the education system and what you see as the change that needs to happen, but also teaching us about your roots.
Yeah.
And I think using you as a template, that table, that conversation, I personally believe any one of us are like, there's somebody in our family member that tap dances on lines that they shouldn't tap dance, that they should know better. And we've all had one of those conversations where we want to speak out about it. Like, come on, I need to educate you into the now. Like your poem became a poem I can see applied to anybody's lifestyle. Like, and I think that was really dope. It made it accessible. So yeah, pretty dope.
Yeah, I just continue to find your work very instructive because, of course, you bring these experiences that come from a very difficult dynamic. And as was kind of mentioned here, and I think everybody in this room does, at least some ego-based confessional poetry. And the thing is not to lose focus on that you're reaching out to communicate to other people as much as this is a way to come to terms with your own reality. You know, it's really instructive to me as an example of how to stay above the temptation to indulge in a lot of getting absorbed in you know, your own problem in a sense, and lose sight of the fact that there are a bunch of people here listening to this kind of wisdom you have to offer, which is a privilege to hear.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think it's again, this is why it's the greatest community in the world, right? Because people aren't just saying, wow, that was cool. Right? But actually critiquing your poem in a way that could be beneficial to you as the artist, as the person feeling your work. Listen, folks, if you are unfamiliar with Dr. Z Page, there was a point that Dr. Z Page was like, yo, you know what? Here's my body, right? I'm gonna show you what it is because I am bearing my soul in my art. This is what Dr. Z Page does, right? And in this case, right? Leave the trauma, take the cannoli. Yes. She said, and this is the first one that I knew was like, okay, we're going too far because she said it. They vetoed as much as too much sensitivity. You've been vetoed as too much sensitivity. Like, oh my gosh, that he could be the head of the table. He could be Paulie. His name. I'm not homophobic, but labeled with misogyny, right? Bearing loaves by the soul, but boys by the boatload. Like, I don't know, like there's something, and I love it. Turn to claim my mental health, right? You said claimed my mental health ruined his retirement. I kind of don't appreciate that as an artist. I don't appreciate that. However, I do appreciate that because the worst thing that you could ever do is piss off a poet. So appreciate you. Conflict between the child they were proud of and the person that you are, the real me. Like I think that that's heavy. Gender supremacy, baptize future children with the waters of wisdom. So they said, yes, everybody caught that line, right? Still the godfather of my own life. But what they said before that was, no matter how much peace I put into my piece, I am still the godfather of my own life. And I understand that's a rough one. It's like that's a rough one. But that's what they said. Doesn't matter how much peace I put in my piece, I'm still the godfather of my own life. I appreciate you, Dr. Z Page, for your honesty, for your truth, and being willing to share it with us. It means a lot. Truly appreciate you. All right. Coming up next, this next incredible artist continues to come through. Whether he has his instrument or not, he is guaranteed to tap dance on your senses. Because this is kind of what he does, right? I've never seen him with tap dance shoes, but he tap dances on your senses every time he comes through. The one and only Catman Bill in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Always great to see you, Catman. Please take it away.
Nowhere. I can't be found anywhere. Look, I'm about to get into trouble again, but trouble follows me anyways. And by the way, can you unmute everybody, because you can't do stand up without people reacting to what you're saying and booing you and catcalling, no pun intended. Can you unmute? No.
Absolutely. Folks, keep in mind, Catman wants your enthusiasm. All right. So keep in mind what's going on. Please. Y'all know what it is. Take it away, Catman.
All right. So, I'm going to do a few things that I did before and everything, and some new stuff. But anyway, I don't know. All right. So, I don't know what other people do with dirty underwear. They weren't wearing any dirty underwear. But I employ the smell test at home to determine if I use them again. I sniff. If I don't smell shit, I put them back on. You know, it's simple. You know, why should I waste detergent on something that doesn't need to be cleaned? You never know who to trust these days, and everybody lies to you. There's no truth in that. They kept telling us that sugar and high fructose and honey wasn't making us obese for 30 years with new scientific studies. Scientists aren't even honest. Politicians are dishonest. Hello, your kids are dishonest. I lied to my mother all the time. She once asked me one night after coming home from a party, Billy, what's wrong with your eyes? Well, I was on LSD at the time, and I told her, oh, nothing. And I went up to my room quickly. Nobody's honest. My cats aren't even honest with me. They act like they're hungry when I snack in the kitchen. They're not hungry. Nobody is honest. My ex-wife once asked me after we made love, baby cakes, what do you think when you make love to me? I think of you, honey buns. And what do you think of? You and only you, she said. So we both lied. Honest tea isn't even honest. They make fruit drinks and they call it tea. Oh, yeah. You know, when guests come over for dinner, you know, invariably somebody needs to use the bathroom. So they go upstairs and they do their business. They wash their hands. And what do you think they do? You think they would use my paper towels right next to the toilet? No. They walk over and use my bath towel. They don't realize that my bath towel has been rubbing my body dry for a long period of time. And there are some parts to my body that I rub more vigorously than others because it feels so good. You know, what do you wash your hands before? You know, this is a question I'll ask anyone that wants to answer. Do you wash your hands before going or after going? Anybody want to respond? Yeah. Anyway, I know I've observed, because I'm an astute observer of the human condition. As you know, I've been observing female buttocks now for quite some time. And I know, don't call me a male chauvinist pig. I'm not. But I've been observing them. And I think that women put their cell phones in their back right buttocks pocket. And it's a fashion statement. It's nothing more than a fashion statement. Anyway, so recently I was doing a show in New York in a hotel, and I was going to the bathroom, and everybody that walks into the lavatory walks over to the urinal. I don't. I walk over to the sinks and I wash my hands before touching myself. The world is filled with dirty dicks. Every guy has a dirty dick because they don't wash before going. It's just a truism. Anyway, I'll talk about my time in Jamaica. I spent 2 glorious weeks a long time ago in Jamaica, and there's nothing to do in the grill except smoke weed, ganj, and go swimming. So close to the last day, you know, somebody approached me to buy an ounce of ganj, and he said, no, man. I said, you know, I've heard the same story before. He said, no, man, this is good ganj. This is mountain ganj, not marsh ganj. So I said, well, light one up. So he lit one up, and it was so strong. I said, I'll take the ounce. Now, a day before departure, I thought, I have to take this home with me. There's no way I'm going to leave it here. So I went to the pharmacy and bought a package of prophylactics. And I hired some local kids to bag up my ounce of weed. Now, at this point, you're probably saying, well, which way did it go in? This way or the other way? I didn't drink coffee the next morning before boarding my trip home. So you can imagine which way it went in. And later, I had to wait for it to come out and to reconstitute it back into a bag. And then at some party once, I remember rolling one up and passing it around, and the remarks were, man, this shit is really good, but it smells like shit. I didn't tell them. I couldn't. Let's see. What else can I mention? Well, you know, Kamala Harris, she's a wonderful, attractive woman, I think. And I've been waiting for this moment for several years. I thought I was going to see it a few years back, but I can't wait for her to have her State of the Union address. And it's going to be the first time that I can relax and lay back and watch the State of the Union and masturbate at the same time. And let's see, anybody's laughing here, or they just turned me out. Anyway, let's see what else. I think that about winds things up, doesn't it? I've wasted a perfect 3 or more minutes of your time. Thank you very much.
Needs to be on a bill.
Somebody who's dedicated to comedy, man. You just have to. Unmute yourselves. Give it up for Cat, man. Bill.
Needs to be on a billboard. Bill, the world is full of dirty dicks. Wash your hands before.
Right. That's absolutely right. I mean, I can't believe it. Nobody, and I don't wash after because I've just touched something that's pristine clean. So why should I wash after going? You know, I mean, I do it before. I guess you would call me a contrarian.
Sting. Two things that you can tell a lot about people. You talk about bathroom habits and you talk about smoking weed. You're going to find some interesting folks in those two conversations. Just saying. Who poops in public? Some people do. Just saying. Catman, what you do, sir, it takes a very brave person to tell real shit and turn them into jokes. Like the herb shit joke, like that shit was money. Like that was literally and figuratively the shit. Pass that shit on the left-hand side, sir. Like that shit was funny. Appreciate you, sir. And listen, community, I appreciate you. Listen, and I told y'all, right? The boot is active, right? We came across some craziness on the screen, right? But this is why I have one of the dopest producers in the Zoom verse, the one and only RMT. So let's keep it going. 3 more, and we're going to go to RMT. Coming up next, this incredible artist continues to come through and share some of his phenomenal artistry. I like to call it an experience. I guarantee you, he did not come here to tap dance. Peace to the gods and the earth. The one and only Baba Ngoma in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
Peace, y'all. Here's my info and whatnot. Listen, Money, 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 Money was by the OJs, and it was sampled by Miri Baraka. Aha. Demockery teeter-totters on the precipice of our discontent. Put through the microscope of integrity, coming up deficient of honesty, is the college elects to misrepresent those crying out for proof that the so-called Constitution is constitutional, not just archaic babble left over from centuries past, guarded by laughing gargoyles on the steps of justice. Apathy is the aching tooth of Dracula, fangs dripping Middle Eastern oil as Fat Sam needs a colonic. 500 years of lies backed up in this Constitution. Constituents tired of being pregnant with hope seek out abortions, feeling voting has no purpose in this hypocrisy, where the two-headed coin has two bad sides, and any way it falls, oppression rules. Martial law hiding in the shadows, waiting for the eagles to fall. Conspiracy theories ignored, while those who disorder the new world wait for its deliverance to the gates of hell. That's one. A poem before I'm censored. I'm here to say what I probably can't say without my name being added to a list. But secretly, it'd be like Nazi Germany up in here, and everything is being recorded. There's a dragon and a bear waiting for the eagle to fall, but the bear stepped in a pile of quicksand, and democracy teeter-totters on the edge of disaster, praying to Jesus. But Jesus didn't pay the phone bill, and it seemed like nobody's home, while civil war looms on the horizon in a megaverse already poisoned by Twitter, and speaking truth to power might easily have one labeled anti-Semitic. But Joe's six-pack, mixed out on critical race theory, is only taught in college, so the truth was omitted from his storybooks, and Semitic is beyond understanding to a sixth grader's reading comprehension. Nobody told him that the war between the states is over and he lost. So January 6th was a warning drill for the future. And I just want to know, are you paying attention yet? I'm not too sure about the Holy Babel, but the Ukraine sure seemed like Armageddon, and the Proud Boys insurrection seemed like a good rehearsal. Gentrification is warfare in these yet to be United States. Iran executes women for not wearing hijabs. They call it crimes against God, but there's blood in the water. Is that not crime against God? There are riots in Peru. The gavel gave gravediggers something, so what can be done since Roe is dead? After all, Tom asked Clarence judged it. But what could you expect? After all, his wife is melanin deficient, and she thinks that the election was stolen, as the White House is in disarray, and we wait to see if Trump or Skin Thing will be convicted. Common sense left the building a long time ago. Now I'm wondering what the king would say, and where's John Brown when you need him anyway? We are not minorities, but oppressed nationalities. Millions at the border trying to take their land back. So I think they're scared of us. But let's stop genocide. After all, has there ever really been peace on earth? When guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns. But how will the gunless be protected? We'd best pray for the day when armies refuse to fight. Poem.
He said, how will the gunless be protected? Goodness. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Baba and Gomo.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you.
That army line at the end was just like was just like so much reality, you know, because the whole concept of army does not even happen as military in the world anymore. It just happens as people just militarizing themselves against their ability to love others, you know. So to hear you just be out there and so beautiful with your expressions is something to always watch and be proud of.
Yeah, what was the one line common sense left the room?
Yeah.
Except for the fact that Ngoma's here and everything he's saying is common sense.
Factamundo. Factamundo.
Ngoma's name was on a list a long time ago. I don't even know where that line came from. I'm sure he's on a bunch of lists.
I heard that shit. Hold up. Peace to the gods in the earth for the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding for the culture and the power. Listen, today's mathematics is this. These cats are incredible. And I promise you what this cat does. Is a blessing to the ancestors, because how he does it is such a blessing to them, right? The so-called Constitution is constitutional. Who said it was? Who said it was supposed to be? Tired of being pregnant with hope? What? Oh, anywhere it falls, oppression rules. Come on. Those who disorder the new world. Ah, man, what you do. Second piece, without my name being added to a list, sir, listen, I said this in a poem coming soon. Some folks have heard it, right? Pray for me. My name has been on the list since I was born with this war paint for skin. Right? Since they knew my daddy was who my daddy was, I've been born with this war paint. But Jesus didn't pay the phone bill. I love that. The truth was omitted from his storybook. January 6th was a warning drill for the future. Justification is warfare in their yet to be United States. Common sense left the building a long time ago. I think they're scared of us. No, Baba. No. In my most humblest voice, I beg to differ. I know. I know they're scared. I appreciate you for all that you do and how you do it and for sharing it with us. Truly appreciate you. Coming up next, two more. This incredible artist, shout out the storytellers in the building, continues to come through with his incredible artistry. Author of not just one, not just two, but trust and believe so many more, right? This incredible storyteller I like to call the Vincent Price of poetry is incredible. Trust and believe. Going only Ike Waltz in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Ike, always great to see you. Please take it away.
Good evening, my fellow citizens. I don't mind talking about uncomfortable issues. This poem is about the cozy dollar relationship with a familiar guy we lovingly call our God. My relationship with God has been and still is of a combative nature. Yes, all my life I have been critical of God. And despite orthodox prognosis, I still live on this amazing earth and not in hell. Over time, I had asked God many questions. The easy ones were answered promptly. The critical ones he has avoided to this day. Originally, it was meant to say, may God bless America. America was asking for a divine favor. However, may God bless America does not make a good song lyric. So the may was left off. Today, we have forgotten that the may was ever there and simply say, God bless America, which grammatically is an imperative statement, sort of ordering God to do it. Some people say, God bless America, as if it was a done fact that God has blessed America and favored America above others. And we made sure that God has a reason to bless us and won't forget us easily. That's why we bravely dedicated our currency to him. In God we trust. So let's do some sparring with the mighty dollar god. Who is this God that blesses America? After all, the world is full of blessed gods. Is there one God that blesses all nations equally? Or is there only a fake one? But why does God favor blessing America? Which God are we talking anyway? American God, who are you? Why hiding behind so many IDs, confusing the weak we are, forcing us to please us in absurd ways and pathetic means, only to satisfy your divine need for our mighty dollar? You keep us in a perpetual fear of dollar happiness and dollar misery. You forgive us if we have everything. You forgive us if we have nothing. And in between, nothing makes any sense to anyone. What God is talking to us anyway? In God we trust blindly demands the dollar. One law under one God, our God, explains the learned scholar. And God and I is, says the teacher, where the dollar talks to God on its favorite preachers, pockets a lot. In God we trust is the dollar's ethical thrust. So God must trust the dollar. What makes God decide to trust in our Wall Street temple? How many shares bribe our God? What God is talking to us anyway? But how do we know that God trusts us? And God is not our foe, and we are not his flaw. Should God not trust, how can we trust God? Is it us who make all of that ungodly fuss? We owe trillions of dollars in deficit to a God hopefully forgiving us. What God is talking to us anyway. So God blesses the dollar. In turn, the dollar blesses God. And every dollar we inhale must be that powerful trust in God. Otherwise, we cannot trust our worthy God. Every dollar you spend turns into a fake belief in God. One nation under the blessed dollar endorsed by an image-conscious God. And in his image, so we are too greedy and corrupt. May the dollar bless America. The more you spend, the more you have, the less you trust in God. 1% like this a lot. May the dollar God bless America. The less you spend, the less you have. The more you trust in God, the moral of the story, the 99% will always worry and play lottery every day. A lucky shot, I guess. But is it for whom? Our beloved dollar God? What God is talking to us anyway? Yes, I call all the dollar blasphemy. Happiness makes me say what I want to say. And on that one day, when I find my God, I will tell him, repent this dirty dollar. And I expect from my God not a penny for my thought, as my God cannot be bought. Anyway, I do thank this, my God, a lot. Thank you.
See, if Thriller was a poem, it would sound like that. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Ike Ward.
Yes, Ike. Man.
Goodness. Ike, what you do, sir, is unlike any other poet I've ever come across in my life. Beyond the fact that you, again, the way you tell stories, the way that you weave words, is a masterclass with each poem. This poem is going to take some time for some folks to maybe decipher. But what you did in this poem, sir, is no short of genius. Really. Really. We lovingly call our God, despite orthodox prognosis, is what he said. We have forgotten the May was ever there. Right? Because God bless America is ordering God to do it. Like who puts themselves in that position? It's a damn fact, right? Won't forget us easily dedicated our currency to him. Who is this God that blesses America? Is there one God that blesses America equally? dollar happiness and dollar misery? God must trust the dollar. That's just wrong in the best and most beautiful of ways. Trillions of dollars to God, we hope that blesses us. We cannot trust our worth in God. The more you spend, the more you have. May the dollar God bless America. What God is talking to us? That money. That money. I appreciate you, sir, for what you do, for all that you do. Pretty sick with it, sir. Thank you for sharing it with us. One more poet, and we're going to pass it off to RMT for halftime. Coming up next, peace to the gods in the earth. This priestess continues to come through and share her amazing work with us. It is always a blessing to hear from her. I never know what she's going to do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I may not, but believe it, I'm always blessed by it. The one and only Oshun Yoyen is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
I hope my parakeets don't go off. And I wrote this poem right after I texted you, so this is like brand new and it's rough. And I looked at it when I got finished with it, and I said, "Damn it, this thing reads like a sermon." And I said, "What the hell? I'm just going to accept that." So the piece is, I call it "Cost of a Dollar Sermon." I don't know what a dollar costs or what it's worth, but I do know that the soul is priceless. In life, our wealth increases by creating beauty, giving birth to art, remembering history, the sweet times, sweet spaces, and manifesting the divine nature of our divine origins. No dollar can even begin to answer those questions or serve those powers. But let's talk prosperity. Land is prosperity because the earth is sacred. It bears life, it bears all life and accepts our bodies when our souls return to the spiritual realm. Everything we need physically to live and survive on this earth comes from the land, our food, our water, which is enriched by the rain. There is no life without water touching the earth, so life cannot have a price on what is given to us so freely. Climbing a tree, picking fruit, planting seeds in the earth, planting and nurturing fertilized seeds in the womb. There is no greater prosperity. The price of a dollar? You can't sell your soul. Many think they are in exchange for that falsely elected high office of the so-called almighty dollar. Read the dollar and trust the divine. Life is rich if we live life from the universal truth engraved on our spirit. Don't sell your soul, consciously or unconsciously. There is no even exchange anyway. You cannot sell what does not belong to you. What belongs to the great divine origins of which you are a permanent part. The dollar is a liar if you are looking for real value. We should use money as it was originally intended, only as a temporary instrument of exchange for goods and services. The dollar, all money, is an imposter when it comes to prosperity, as it speaks to and from the soul.
Wait. She said the dollar is an imposter when it comes to prosperity? Is that what you said?
Yes.
God, come on. Unmute yourself, give it up for Oshun, yeah.
That opening line about the soul being priceless and the way you weighed against the first statement, that was beautiful. That was incredibly beautiful. Like I'm always enamored in people that start that way, you know, because then it's not only intriguing, but can actually be an invitation into entering people's souls and their way of thinking and understanding exactly what they're talking and why it's important. So one love.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Yeah, the dollar is a liar if you are looking for real value. Thank you, ma'am.
I get so excited. I understand I'm biased, but I get so excited about what we do, folks. And then the priestess had the nerve to say it was new shit. And let me tell you, folks, the priestess texted me probably 3, maybe 4 hours ago, and I'm being generous, about 4 hours ago. So for the priestess to rip through this like this in that amount of time, it's like, oh well, I'm not sure. And I love when artists do this. Like, I'm not really sure, right? Like I used to do, like shout out the paint slingers in the building, right? So again, shout out the paint slingers in the building for slinging all the wet paint all over the place. The soul is priceless. Giving birth to art, right? No dollar can begin. Land is prosperity, right? Land is prosperity, right? You can't sell your soul. Read the dollar and trust the divine. There is no even exchange anyway. The dollar is a liar if you're looking for real value. Do your own research. I appreciate you. Truly, priestess, for doing what you do and sharing it with us. Shout out again to the gods, to the earth, for all the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, for the culture and power and rebirth that you always bring to us. We truly appreciate you. All right. Before we move on to the next poet, I'm going to pass it on to the dopest tech in the Zoomverse, the one and only Ron Mark Thompson, a.k.a. RMT. If you're not down with RMT by now, damn it, what are you doing with your life? Oh, you should be already. Come on, Ron. How you feeling this evening?
I'm feeling okay, mesmerized by your theme as always, the cost of a dollar. What an amazing, interesting, take on everything. So I really appreciate it, as always. Hi, everyone. I'm Ron Mark Thompson here, working in the back end for the New Regan Poets Cafe, your tech assistant, supporting our host, including when we both had to kick out that troll earlier today. I don't even know why they tried. You're not going to take us down. We're going to continue with our powerful performances, and that's what I'm glad to be here with our community. You're just creating more work for us, because now I'm going to have to go back to the live stream video afterwards and do a little bit editing. But nevertheless, happy to be here, zooming in from a rainy New York City, which is a great segue for tomorrow, our outdoor workshop and open mic, our collaboration with the American LGBT plus museum, unfortunately has to be postponed because of the rain forecast tomorrow. So instead of tomorrow, it's going to happening 2 weeks from tomorrow, which is August 23rd, same time, 5 to 9 p.m., Pier 45, Hudson River Park in Manhattan. And the same Eventbrite link that we had advertised in the past week still works. It's the QR code here in case you're on one of our live streams, or if you're in Zoom, just go to our ticket calendar. At the moment, it says it's sold out. Those are free tickets. I'm going to contact the museum tomorrow to make sure that we reopen for more tickets. But if for any reason you don't have a chance to get your ticket via Eventbrite, it's free. Just come on to Pier 45 2 weeks from tomorrow, and we will welcome you at the workshop and open mic. Other than that, we're going to continue our indoor programs off-site because our own building is currently rained out. It's actually under construction in the Lower East Side. So Saturday, Paul Concasso, as Elemental mentioned, is returning to South of France, a restaurant in the Bronx, and that'll be the second time that our new Nuyorican karaoke will be held there. Paul will be there both this weekend, August 10th and August 24th, with Matthew Marroquin supporting him on the tech end. Come on, this is free. Just come on there, no ticket needed, and there are food and drinks available for purchase at the bar. A great restaurant. All right, next week we're going to continue our regular Monday weekly Nuyorican Bowery slams at the Bowery Poetry Club. Mondays 6:30 p.m. doors open, 7 p.m. the show starts, and final Friday slam this month will be August 30th. That one is at the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater, hosted by Tony McPherson. Also next week, Elemental mentioned it already, we are bringing you a new open mic this and next month because we are not at Loisaida this and next month. Instead, we will be at La Sala de Pepe, an art space on Avenue C, corner of East 5th Street. Paul Skiff knows of that place. I know he's in the Lower East Side. We love that space. We're going to bring you a free open mic twice this month, twice next month, hosted by Brian Acosta Aria, aka Brian the Motel Guy, who has been with us on Mondays and as well the final Friday slam. This will be his first time hosting. It is free, but we are collecting donations for La Sala de Pepe. If you come on, whether or not you are able to donate, we want you to be there. Bring your music, bring your poetry, bring your short stories, bring your monologues. Come on out to support us there. Nuyorican Poets Cafe at La Sala de Pepe. Next week is the first one, August 30th or 14th on Wednesday. Then Elemental mentioned we will hosting our first comedy open mic together with the Starving Artist, which is a cafe on City Island in the Bronx. Yes, believe it or not, the Bronx has a few islands. The most famous one is City Island. That one is Saturday, August 16th, taking place 8 p.m. $10 at the door tickets. Come on out if you can make it for that. And our executive director, La Brua, will be hosting that one. In the meantime, excuse me, we are continuing our online offerings as well. Every Thursday, our online open mic. Elemental mentioned if you want to get your artist RSVP ticket, they open up on our ticket site 24 hours prior. And if you cannot watch via Zoom, you can watch our live stream, YouTube and Facebook, or you can watch the recording afterwards. Also online, Beatniks on the Road. Our most recent episode is from 2 weeks ago, July 30th, featuring poets from Boston. And that one, by the way, is hosted and curated by Tony McPherson, who also is hosting a new workshop to teach slam poetry every month on the second Tuesday starting next week. I have to give you good and bad news. All tickets for this coming Tuesday already have been sold out. Sold may be the wrong term because it is a free workshop, but we are restricting it to 10 participants, so that way Tony can give the space on time for each participant to guide them through guiding and teaching them how to write and perform slam poetry. So that way you can also attend and participate in our poetry slams. But if you are running to get your ticket for September, that one is taking place September 10th. So go to our ticket calendar. You can get your tickets there. And for all the other events I didn't mention, just go to our link tree or a new link that we created, nuyorican.org/calendar. So if you have not yet bookmarked our calendar link, you can just go to that one. If you're on the live stream, click on the QR code and you can get tickets, whether they're free or whether they're paid for, and links to all of our upcoming events. So we thank you for your continued support. You can also donate to us. Go to our website. There is a donation link. We really appreciate everyone. And on that note, we are going to go over to London, where Lenton Carey, our next performer, is zooming in from. Oh, let me show myself on video. I'm actually here. I'm a real person, sorry. And in London, in the UK, it's not the dollar, but it's the pound. But I'm pretty sure the theme still makes sense. Thank you, Lenton, for being with us here again. Let everyone know where we may follow you. The next 3 minutes are all yours. Welcome back.
Thank you, my brother. Indeed, thank you so much. Thank you all. My ignorance of costs lay in the fact that I did not value money sufficiently. I would always spend like Richard Pryor in one of the Spider-Man movies where one taps the ATM and a whole load of cash came spewing in crispy notes. I would get so much for my dollar. I could either buy a plethora of small items down Jamaica Avenue, my favorite candies, 3 for $1 t-shirts, or a delectable slice from John's Pizza. Not now. Somehow, I find myself surrendering to the dark shadows of recent years like bad financial winters. A journey of pestilences and conflicts, or one where the mogul conglomerates decided to take from me in stealth to make up for the sudden loss from oil and other natural resources. This has been brought about by the unnecessary greed for more, the challenges of questionable wars, the cost of creating refugees who naturally have the good sense to rely not on the wanton cruelty of callous hearts, but their own instincts for survival. So now I count my furloughs and food stamps meticulously, like the mother of all misers. I do so because my government has spent and continues to spend billions on financing clandestine operations with hidden agendas in countries to the south, east, and Mama Africa itself, just so that the unseen 1% on private loans, yachts, jets, and club-owned golf courses can enhance an already lavish lifestyle. I count my dollars because the cost of produce and medicines has skyrocketed. Compliments of big pharma, vaccine lobbyists, the difficulties of demarcation along borders, and destructive demons dropping from the sky. Naturally, they all need financing, and the power-crazed war machine consortiums making billions are far from likely to assist. So now I watch my dollars, count my salary or pension with a keen sense of sight, greater than that of a hawk. How much is the electricity and gas bill this month? Can I afford the aircon or an evening out to dinner? How much is my broadband and cell phone bills? Oh, my food expensive. Yes, my rent or mortgage too. The car insurance. Or should I put those much-needed clothes on hold? Wait, let's have another look at my online bank statement. Sweet Jesus, where has all that money gone so quickly? Alas, the unflinching boat of time sails on. Mountain Carrier, thank you.
This is what I'm talking about, right? When people completely engulf and embody the theme, this is God. I told you, the most eloquent writer I know. Give it up. Unmute yourself and give it up for Lantern Carrier.
Yeah, way to go. That sounds like how I deal with my finances every month as a person also on a fixed income mostly. It's just all of that reality makes a really daunting list.
And one thing about the sage is that when he writes about it, he actually gets to the root of the tree of the topic, and that is something you can't trade, overnight, So one love, and thank you for the inspiration.
Facts. Listen, folks, this is why I call this cat the most eloquent writer I know. Because what he does, as Zomkonto said, he really digs to the root of it, right? Not comparing the two at all when I say this, but when you send out a pig to search for truffles, they don't come back with mushrooms, right? They come back with truffles. And this is what Lantern does. He always unearths truffles. I don't know how you do it, sir. Right? I did not value money sufficiently. I think we could all make that claim. As younger human beings, we did not value money sufficiently. Down Jamaica Ave, shout out Queens, shout out 125th. Listen, listen, the like bad financial winters, the global conglomerates decided to take from me in stealth. Come on. I count my furloughs and food stamps meticulously like misers. Come on. Come on. Come on, folks. Unless you've had food stamps, you may not understand how meticulously you count them. The unseen 1%, right, can enhance an already lavish lifestyle. Demarcation amongst borders, the power-craved war machine consortiums. How much is my broadband and cell phone bills? Right? Every time I look at my bank account, sir, I ask that same question. Where has my money gone so quickly? Like I could have swore I just got paid yesterday. Where did my damn money go? It was just there. Appreciate you, Lantern, for all that you do, continuing to do it, and staying up wicked late across the pond and sharing your brilliance with us. We appreciate you. On this side of the pond, on the other side of the continent, we have our brother who rocks with us from the Pacific Northwest. Shout out to 206. Shout out to 425. Shout out to Denise. For real.
Got the zip codes, man.
Yeah, man. Listen. I spent time there, man. I spent about 11 years in that area, man. This incredible artist continues to come through. He's been rocking with us for years, man. Seriously. And he helps us to put our week into balance. The one and only Joski C in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, Joski. It is always great to see you, man. Come on, take it away.
Hey, Elemental. Hey, I'm honored to be featured performer tomorrow at Open Minds Open Mic. It's at 7:00. It's on Zoom, and I'll put the thing in the chat. But everybody's invited. And I'm going to play some of my songs. But for right now, just some short poems. This is a haiku. Oasis, tongue of desert drought, mirage becomes oasis in alcohol's mouth. And this next piece refers to, in the US Senate, there's this huge marble desk with the dais or lectern thing in front of it. It's where Trump's impeachment trials took place. And it's really quite beautiful. So I wrote this, this is called Marble Desk. Marble desk behind the dais, white lines, dark stone, chest x-ray pattern like ARDS, severe disease, COVID lungs. In a Senate infected with arrogance, cowardice grows, Mets to bone, twisted snakes, lines in stone, as rock-solid evidence refutes the lie of the despot. And lastly, another haiku. Alligator eyes rise from a Florida swamp, lie without blinking. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Telling you that dude he just does it. He just does it. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Joski C.
Thanks, Joski.
Josuke is just the ultimate level of cool. Like, I mean, I could spend my whole lifetime trying to reinvent that kind of level of cool and, you know, not being bothered by the fact that the world is intolerant and making a contribution to saying something about it and making it come out through music sometimes and also making it come out to poetry. So I'm always so happy to hear that. One love.
Somehow I could hear your guitar there in the background.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming, right? If we know Joski C, we know that there's a guitar accompaniment coming soon. Joski, what you do, sir, I love the sonics in your voice, right? And they blend so well in the notes that you play with your guitar, right? But you also have to realize that your voice is melodic as well, right? So I don't know which one you want to say is the accompaniment, if the guitar is the accompaniment to your voice or your voice is the accompaniment to your guitar. What you do is pretty incredible. Oh, coming back at you, Joski. Yeah. Coming back at you.
It's a conversation.
Oh, it's a conversation between the two.
Yes.
Got you. I appreciate that, sir. Really for that clarification. Listen, the Oasis, right? When you're looking for, paradise in alcohol's mouth, I love that. The things that are conjured, right? In an alcohol's mouth. Marble desk, I love the chest x-ray pattern aspect. In a Senate infested with cowardice. Like, come on. Like, I think the Harris waltz, is that going to become a thing? The Harris waltz? I think they need to hire you for that. For that. In a Senate infested with cowardice, we will make the changes necessary to bring about change in America. And I think that started with what Joski C said. I'm just saying, refutes the lies of the despot. Right. And then the third haiku, you said, lie without blinking. Yeah, that's what professionals do. Appreciate you, Joski, for what you do, and continuing to do it as well as you do. Appreciate you. Shout out to Denise. Coming up next, Storm Gods in the building, the atmosphere rearranger. This dude continues to do some pretty incredible things. I saw him recently on YouTube performing live in Toronto. Also riding shotgun in a helicopter. This dude really does. He really does affect the atmosphere. The one and only Zone Koto in the building. Zikali, the one and only. Let these folks know where they can find you, man. It is always great to see you. Come on, man. Take it away.
Thank you so much. I'll share my links later. I wrote this, I finished it just short of 1 hour before the start, and I had to write someone and say, did I overstep the boundaries? You know, I knew shit, but I thought maybe like, you know, like I overstepped the boundary. So, but it's okay. Bear with me, because it's still new, but also like I hope it's okay to say. All right. I was told of a grave digger who started counting money before a man died. A man who was still standing 8 stories up a building he had helped to build. A man who knew all the exits to that building and had even once suggested that the best way out in case of an emergency is to escape into the garden. And if this man had known that very second that the grave digger had a piece of earth in his pocket for that poor man's grave already, he would have not stood up there. But with hindsight, he would have simply guessed how many grains of sand had been counted, because there is no greater joy than digging yourself out of the graves that this world dug for you. Sometimes I even wonder if the late queen, counting gold bars in her silent, well-guarded seclusion, even stopped to think hard that colonized peoples were never dollar signs, but folks who dreamed in bold strokes that they were more than just the paper which carries the face of a self-imposed queen. That royalty meant riches that come from counting the sores on your child's behind and knowing even this innocent soul did not choose the sickness that money can easily buy. That the banks it took to buy slave ships loaned money to murderers whose body count was something to kill a man dead for. I wonder as that man stood so high up in a building he had built a foundation for, that he knew if the cracks on the walls were also paid for, and that in their cracking they had predicted that he too would collapse inside, brick by brick, and that a grave digger somewhere out there had already counted the right amount it takes to dig 6 feet deep, enough to bury his own, enough to buy his own son the bicycle he was dying for. Let a man die to buy that bike. And that in his own death, he would feed a wallet too fat to understand the lean bitterness that goes through a man's world when his poverty has become too obese for him to exercise his right to just be. We pass underneath 8-story buildings every day. And perhaps all of us mathematically compete, are competent enough to count to 10. But how many can look up to catch that moment when a man is counting his final seconds, not aware that somewhere a grave digger is counting to confirm that the grave this said man is going to also buys his son his ultimate dream. The same way slave owners counted money to buy slave ships in the name of this queen, and that money she counted bought her shoes big enough to kick that poor man off the balcony in the name of royalty and all the money that it brings. Zomkonto, Kawate. Rest in peace to all of them. No, you feel it crackle. This is what he does. He's like a cracking, crackling and shit. This dude right here. Unmute yourself, give it up for Zomkonto.
Oh,
Yeah.
how
Wow.
Yeah, the air in this room here where I am is just sizzling right now. That was a unique poem to me in how I'm going to say mercilessly it depicted the profanity of a dollar bill.
Yeah. Come on, Jedi Master.
Yeah, well,
Listen, y'all. As one of the other storm gods come in the room, shout out Fuego. Listen, it just does that, right? Like Zonkonto really does that. And I love how you embody your poems. Every time you read, you truly embody the work that you do, right? You believe it on a molecular level. And there is no greater strength, in my opinion, as a poet who feels every single thing that I do. I appreciate you for what you do. You said a story of a grave digger who counted money before he died. Escape into the God in you. A piece of earth in his pocket? What? Digging yourself out of the graves this world has dug for you. Right? Saw the Jedi Master jump on that one too. Folks who dreamed in bold strokes, right? Loan money to murderers? What? The cracks on the wall were also paid for. Fuck out of here. Also buys his son the ultimate dream in the name of royalty. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like you don't say these things unless you are absolutely committed to making sure those lines connect. I appreciate you, brother, for always representing not only yourself but your ancestors. Truly appreciate you. Zonkonto, Gabadela. Like I love that shit. Like that's so cold. Like Zikali, baby. Like that's just what it is. Appreciate you. All right. Coming up next. Listen, Jackson. I believe that listen. Let's do it. In the building, you are rocking with the best and you know it. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. Let these folks know where they can find you. Listen, love for the background first and foremost. All right. I love the trippiness of it. The folks who know me know that I've been, tricking out my backgrounds forever. So I love it. I appreciate the effort. Again, let these folks know where they can find you. Welcome. Take it away.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate your background. Being able to be here is awesome. I'm going to put in a link. I post my poetry and other writing pretty frequently to my Substack. I posted a link to that and then added my Instagram handle. I have 2 poems for today. The first one I think is the most tailored poem I have to this prompt, and the second one works, and I just wanted to share it. Both poems are pretty long, so I shortened them to be within the time frame. This first one is called Amy's LLC. Growing up, I played Mad Libs and listened to Mad Villainy, taught myself to ad-lib and experimented lyrically. Wicked lines to break the wicked lines but make it sexy. Re-inspired at 23. In 40 years, I'll be 60. In another, I'll be 25, assuming that I'm still alive and not burrowing, buried beneath the floorboards. I refuse to rest on my laurels. It's my duty to continue improving my little shop of floral flows and benedictions, Cumberbatch surely locked behind a promising young talent, imbibes twice daily to quiet a mind impious, frantic, and ain't that just the way? It's always heyday when you're on tour. Life's a parade for a soul often taciturn, but nonetheless convivial, apparently. It's imperative that they keep searching for the beauty in the world, not consuming or engaging only with what the monologue is saying. Pray for me purposefully, personally. I'm sick of baying at the gates of a God who cannot be bothered to acknowledge my cries. A case of white lies predicated on white lies. Classic. There's entendre if you even care to read between the lines. No pressure. I know you're busy and I wish not to waste your time. It's precious to me. You are precious to me. See, without you, I'm nothing. I need you to validate my art, to tell me that this vocation is worth the blood, sweat, and tears, that it is something bigger than me, to be told that I'm worthy, that these anxieties can't hurt me or touch me. Have I earned your trust? Am I trustworthy? Am I believable? Someone has to be, right? So do I command your belief? Or am I just another fiction? To my Baroque baby brother, whom I smothered in the ribs, I was going on 18. You were only 16 agers, both sick mortally, but old enough to know better. Weathering each other's weather just became the status quo. It's too bad, really, and though I'm still reeling, I'm glad for you. I sincerely hope it's better, your life without me in it. Is it true that I too may be better off bereft of your presence? On whom now am I to lavish presents whene'er I'm feeling altruistic? I'm too generous for a hedonist, for an idiot, a ventriloquist. So silly it's looking back, but it's so pretty in the rear view. Continue to gaze deep into my soul through these pasteurized words until my rasterized green eyes deliver unto you new worlds. Hey, look only at the screen in front of you. Single file lines. You hear that? Sit down when the teacher's talking. I hear teaching's the best way to learn, so maybe I'll take a turn and cut my teeth on cafeteria lunch meat. No sanitary salad option or eager lunch ladies to make ends meet daily. They work for 2 salaries, minimum wage for working overtime hourly. How cowardly the flowery omniscient powers that be. But industry is nothing in the face of true artistry, but it's a man's world, and men want shiny things. Shiny suits and shiny cars with a handful of windfall provides flush and shiny spades. Tip a dollar, till a seed, save a life, shade yourself under a prepaid debit card. Discover that the cover image is a royal blue Corvette, an American reimagining of a coquette show set in the pounding heart of Amsterdam. Am I proud to be an American? Am I proud to be here? I know myself and I'm hardly proud to be me, but what is America? What is pride? Maybe I really wasn't there. I swear I was, but I suppose it doesn't matter since everything is caught on camera nowadays. I'm spiraling in circles, don't know which way yet. Check back in a couple days. I'll try my best to paraphrase. That was my first poem, Amy's LLC. This second poem, it's called Abstract Lithium Factory. It's the first poem in a collection also titled Abstract Lithium Factory. Sometimes cigars are just cigars, like Freud said. A boy turned man still sleeping in mom's bed. Sometimes I pine over the fact that I'm not dead. I'm well-read, educated, full of enough cred, abilities to command synthetic symmetry. It's humbling, the essential part of me nobody likes to see. When it rears its head, everyone is an enemy. They're full of enmity. The animus is on a CD that looms on loop in the back of my brain electronically. I'm hopelessly paralyzed. I know there's something wrong with the way I feel about everything. I plead what is wrong with me as blaring siren peal repeals my rationality. Can I hope for change? And is it fixable? This part of me that plays the thing, and I always hate not knowing how to be. I'm sentient, fully aware, and beginning to see exactly how I smile and wave to hide misplaced anxiety. I shouldn't be around other people. I'm a flight risk, subtly climbing in their head and hiding there like a benign cyst. It's devilish, I'm charming, but I'm also selfish. If I sell fish, I'm fishing my hand in the charity jar for $1.06. Why should they get it anyway when they don't pay rent? I've given enough to hospitals. At this point, it's ridiculous that I should break my back to piss away my hard-earned bucks to this. I have a sixth sense that says I shouldn't give my 6 cents to 6 kids. My neurons fire across crisscrossed lattices. I follow up cogent thought with non sequitur tangents. It's uncanny how I link things and expect others to manage or even fathom the fathoms deep hair holes of a mind manic. But even the best distractions must retire when the thrill is gone. Life returns with a tire iron. I'm convinced that in a past go, I must have played with fire and stoked the ire of a being higher than I after inhaling a rail of barbed wire. The bump leaves me elated. Glory sings the choir. It trains its eyes on me, but I'm too goddamn tired. My vision narrows and I cannot seem to sire a plan to emerge victorious from the quagmire. What can I say? Self-amnesty is hard for me. In my cardboard packaging, grace came hardly. I was dropped a drop on the doorstep of a house party where I graced a happy home, a most unfortunate adoptee. What's the point of getting good things given heartily when for some inchoate part of me, my success is not what it wants to see? I've lost morale before, but these wounds bleed mortally. I'm morally opposed to not stopping the problem, but the problem's me. Hello, how are you? I'm pleased to meet you so cordially. You can call me Icarus. Please avail yourself of my canopy. From my perch, I view the ground below with apathy. Colors and shapes I can't relate to threaten my sanity. I'm not really a part of this world, only partially. Insofar as my being here, bereft of any sincerity, can seriously be considered as more than anomaly, and verily. Is he a waste of imperity, he who cares nothing for his own posterity? I've given myself too many reasons for new austerity. My own polarity pollutes my life with too much severity, self-barbarity of endless temerity and asperity. Hospice can provide me no care. I mean, this is verity. If this is really it for me, there's no angularity. I understand the decision to seize my cellularity. And if things do go that way, I can tender meager clarity in the form of 4 more pseudo-sonnets offered voluntarily. Thank you.
Pseudo sonnets offered voluntarily? You're ridiculous, sir. You're ridiculous. Just in case you didn't know that, you're ridiculous. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Jackson Riley.
Whoa, that was amazing, man.
The
One of us. One of us. One of us.
Fact it
One
did.
of us.
intensity of fresh voice
Yeah.
and
Crazy
finding
wordplay, man.
every time. Yeah, it's insane. Like finding
Got
always
10.
that there are people that
Yeah.
think like you is something that you cannot even, put into words. That is beautiful.
The word conjurers out there.
Yeah, really love the
Love you.
propulsiveness of your delivery. And it was like, with my take on those, that really brisk and crisp rhyming is like, a totally intensely high BPM count. It was just, revolutions per second, totally driven.
Talk that DJ shit, Jedi Master. Talk that DJ shit. For real. Listen. For real. Listen. And again, this is why I say it's the greatest community in the world. It's why I love our community, right? Because your contemporaries can tell you what it is. That is some high level poetry, sir. Right? That is some slam league type work, right? Refuse to rest on my laurels. Pray for me purposefully. Like, pray for me purposefully. Like that could almost be the title of a book. Pray for me purposefully. Like don't pretend with it. Don't go fund me, damn it. Pray for me purposefully. But also go fund. There's entendres if you even care to read between the lines. That line right there is an entendre rating to Fibonacci. Just saying. Right, like May's got that one like, oh, this dude. I'm too generous for a hedonist. Love that. Flowery, omnipotent powers that be, right? And Americans reimagining. What is pride? Everything is caught on camera nowadays. No doubt about it. The second piece, abstract lithium factory, I believe. Sometimes cigars are just cigars. Unless they're blunts. Stoke the ire of a being higher. I love that. I really love that. Morally opposed to stopping the problem. Not really a part of this world, only partially. I've said that before. I'm an alien. I just live here. Appreciate you, Jackson, for real. As Fuego said, you're definitely one of us. So whatever you have done or in the past on your Thursday nights, forget about it. All right? Forget about it. Find yourself here on Thursday nights because you're home here. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. For real. Appreciate you. And just in case you weren't sure that, like, I don't know, man, maybe people don't really get down like I do. There's some, you know what I mean? Check this out. Coming up next, this cat, who was just at the spot, the other day. We were rapping about some things. Ranked top in the world. I went through this whole elaborate thing about him being poet laureate of Earth, and I'm still sticking to that shit. This cat is the serious business. He is the 100% real deal. The 100 and listen, like I don't know. I need to come up with an equation for you, right? Because I feel like you would leave like E equals MC squared scratching its own head. Like, how the fuck did this dude do what he just did? The one and only CP Mays in the building, folks. Let these folks know where they can find you, man. It's ridiculous to see you. Love to hear you, man. Take it over.
Yeah, I'm on IG and Facebook as CP Mays. I host an open mic on the 2nd and 4th Sundays of every month, Bottoms Up Global Open Mic. If you want me, track me down via CP Mays, and that's, as Megas would say, cause some good trouble. Here's a poem.
Cigarettes for breakfast, a tall boy for lunch, Jack Daniels for dinner. It still ain't enough. I got a closet in my pocket, a stomach full of wine, a never-ending cyclone. You're scraping up my eyes, and nothing seems to matter. No one keeps me full. Untie knots in my stomach. I'm tired of playing cool. Just give me a confirmation. Don't paint me a pretty lie. Just give me one reason to not want to die. Oh, love. Oh, love. Don't be so cruel. Oh, love. Oh, love. I'll break all your rules.
Always waiting for angels to cliff jump off into her jeans. As if her Molotov mouth wasn't made from 2 parts, I don't give a damn. As if her last part wasn't pardon me as I kiss the sky. As if her riot gear gods weren't all sponsored by bartenders and bar stools, Jack Daniels and John the Baptist, Jose Cuervo and a juvenile Jesus Christ. As if her maker Mark Bourbon breath didn't daydream that she would be the holder of holy water as a kid. As if always asking hardworking angels if end of the year Christmas bonuses for making prayers meet were worth it, or whether heaven's heavy taxes are worth the worry, or whether Thursday's grins were on furlough from our karma, making it through hump day without birth control if you leave. The birthmarks above my collarbone will hang themselves from Adam's apple as if hunger is to free will, as if fig leaves on a curfew, as if bright ideas keep cliches as chains off doors, as if porch lights y'all, as if they never stayed on, as if our late nights didn't live in goddamn light bulbs, as if spinning around wine bottles, as if they were not lighthouses, as if our love didn't come and look like in waves crashing down, as if our skin wasn't as for sure as parting us while we kissed the sky, as if our insecurity wasn't fluent in speaking pillow talk, as if she wasn't as gorgeous as an alcoholic asking a bartender for another goddamn drink, as if the jukebox didn't go juke joint Jimi Hendrix. Excuse me while I kiss the sky, so pardon me as I kiss the sky, as if blushing tiaras aren't hiding themselves, as if storybook endings, y'all, as if they aren't all in rehab, as if our fairy godmothers and their princesses aren't all powdering their noses with Snow White. I said cigarettes for breakfast, a tall boy for lunch, Jack Daniels for dinner, still ain't enough. I got a closet in my pocket, a stomach full of whys, a never-ending cyclone. You're scraping up my eyes and nothing seems to matter. No one keeps me full. Untie knots in my stomach. I'm tired of playing cool. Just give me a confirmation. Don't paint me a pretty lie. Just give me one reason to not want to die. Oh, love.
Don't be
so cruel. Oh, love. Fuck you, love. Oh, love. I'll break all your rules. Give me enough time and I'ma break all your rules. Thank y'all. Shout outs to the wifey.
That's not okay. That's not okay. Unmute yourself. Give it up for CP Mills and Black Swan.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, I love that.
There's always like a 33,000 feet height to your genuine spirit. I don't know if I tell you that, but it makes me happy, man.
Yes, right? I hate that fucking song because I love it so much. I hate that song because it's like my favorite fucking song. I hate it so much because I love it so much.
Yeah.
Like that's why you saw the brothers on Koto just like, yo, like it speaks to us on so many different levels, man. Like what y'all do playing with those emotions, playing with those the sonics. It's unreal. It's unreal. Like anyone else have any comments about that one? I gotta let that one rock for a second because what they do is something different. Individually, if you don't know who Black Swan is, check her out. She is an absolute monster, and they happen to coexist, kind of like the gods in the earth on the east. They are the gods in the earth in the south. Like they do what they do ridiculously. So I appreciate both of you for doing that. I could spend a lot of time quoting y'all. Spinning around wine bottles as if they weren't lighthouses. As if the jukebox didn't go Jimi Hendrix. Making it through hump day without birth control. I've been playing Russian roulette with romance. I've been playing Russian. Listen. Like y'all be killing me with that. Y'all be killing me with that for real. I appreciate y'all. Shout out Swanye West. Shout out Double Trouble. Listen, praying. All right. Appreciate y'all. Truly. Coming up next, the Jedi Master is in the building. You have heard his commentary all evening because I appreciate how he feels about what we do. because he's been doing it longer than us, and he's still doing it and doing it and doing it well. The one and only Paul Skiff in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
Yeah, it's great to be here as always. Thanks for the intro. I'm not going to do something on theme. Don't ask me to write about a dollar bill because I won't be able to stop. I won't be able to shut up. It'll be too much in the harsh zone. I'm just going to read about 3 minutes of some one-sentence poems, and they're all based on cliches, just on this manuscript I've been working on for a while. I think I'm up to 205 or something. So I'm just going to read a bunch of these. There is no time like the present, says why not to reluctance and waiting. In a pantomime of wisdom, provocation beguiles hesitation with, so inhibition will see the future as worthless right now. The power of menace is exactly where success may be wrestled from if you take the bull by its horns. Just be aware the outcome of the flip is a toss-up. Blessing in disguise does not want you to feel real misfortune or see underneath its luck costume, but be consoled and rewarded by the luscious heavenly prize hidden between its graces. The be-all and end-all insists there is nothing more, and what you expect should be given up in acceptance of the impossibility there is something better. Flaming first to be heard, the burning question next hungers not so much for oxygen of the answer, but requirement to have it be spoken. Time heals all wounds except the abrasions memory left on forever. Dropping all rules from tight wire between affection and hostility, precarious emotion pursues balance, hazarding fate where all's fair in love and war, weighs both pleasure and conflict as one passion with two personalities. More a fear than belief. Reminder, pleasure has no afterlife. You can't take it with you, encourages the illusion possession convinced you to ignore for instant gratification, mortal as your memory. A pie in the sky, tempting cloud, floats impossibly distant succulence, ambitious, insatiable hungers imagine to feed the tragically bereft appetite of earthbound hope, whose fulfillment is so starved, gratification's tongue can only imagine. There is no more to it than that encourages complication to consider a matter of fact and accept simplicity. It is what it is, the oh well acceptance made from no choice, recognition found in the limit of perfection. In misdeeds, blood bathes mystery of gratification's luster, as need for fulfillment wears crimson-hued audacity on guilt so obvious when grabby ambition is caught red-handed. When we need to talk because the only thing left of agreement is a bone to pick, we argue like scavengers tussling over the carcass of solution. Repellent advisory with promise of disgust, don't open that can of worms, imagines into you an effect of discouragement through the slime that coats your anticipation. Look on the bright side wants to trick your optimism with the predicament that either or makes of the gloom behind its back. Hiding in plain sight made no effort to conceal appearance because familiarity remains invisible behind what is commonly seen. The conflict refused compromise when the corpse, as a symbol for no, dared the challenger to step past exaggerated defiance and find satisfaction over my dead body. Disregard all other considerations. Prioritize your own gratification, and if you really do not mind looking like you do not mind in the garb of self-satisfaction, suit yourself. The meaning throbs that brings us together with value essential to the location of significance known by vitality in a recognition we share about what is important at the heart of the matter. That's enough. Thanks.
Is there ever that? I mean, we're talking about a Paul Skiff poem. Is there ever enough? Just saying. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Paul Skiff.
Oh, Inferno. Inferno.
No doubt.
Too many lines to quote.
Wonderful. It's like, as usual, always like traversing the lines of emotion, and like it takes so much to put line after line like the way Skiff does. It's just something else. Truly beautiful. One love.
Like if Paul Skiff was a member of the dark side and he had to get his lightsaber created, what would it look like? Like that was just going through my brain at that moment. Like, what the hell would his lightsaber look like? Listen, sir, what you do is thankfully uniquely yours and unlike anyone else in the world. That's why I said from when he started, folks, he's been doing it longer than us and still continues to do it and do it and do it well. And you see that in this poem. And he was like, you know what? I'll just stop right there, right? We'll see the future as worthless right now, right? The outcome of a flip is a toss-up. I don't know if y'all caught that. Oxygen of the answer, but the requirement for it to be spoken, like one passion with two personalities, right? Recognition found in the limit of perfection, like when grabby ambition is caught red-handed. Come on, man. Familiarity remains invisible behind what is commonly seen. Like he's sitting in the round table of you know what I mean, the Jedi High Council. Because I appreciate you, sir, really, for not just coming through and continuing to come through, but for staying dedicated to what you do and doing it at such a high level. So thank you for that. 2 folks left on the guaranteed list, and we've got 5 on the good luck round. Everybody on the good luck round is in the building. Storm Gods will be closing it out. Let's get to it. Coming up next, we haven't seen this cat in a while. And I know there's so many things that have transpired since we last saw this cat. But let me tell you, for the folks who haven't seen this cat before, this cat is the one and only Daniel Fernandez, author of The Emotional Defibrillator, one of our great community members, right? About to be a father, right? Congratulations, right? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Been a while, man. It is great to see you. You know, again, so many heavy things that have happened and transpired, man. But listen, we are thankful that you found your way back to us. Love to the queen. Love to the baby on the way, man. Great to see you. I'm not going to yell at you because you're going to be a dad. You're going to be yelled at quite a bit coming up very soon. Great to see you, man. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate being back. My poem actually was written in February and fits in theme. It is called Pause for a Moment. Pause for a moment. Pause for a moment. In this living catastrophe, we all have a purpose other than sharing Earth's gravity. Starting from square one with a scar called bankruptcy, living with adrenaline because a thrill comes naturally. Dopamine doesn't know what's good for us. Joy is temporary, like a grudge. Chasing pleasure just because, spaving the savings and going nuts. Speaking the truth so people will judge. Face the fact and deal with it for once. If there's a problem, let the two discuss. Don't isolate yourself because of the lack of trust. A recession is around the corner. Inflation is to blame, although it's torture. Funny because it's supposed to keep us in order. The value of $1 is starting to feel like a quarter. Take a step back and kick up your feet. Slap the stress away as if it's guaranteed. Reflect on yourself as you would a dream. Sleeping in, but to a certain degree. Loyalty is a skill now, since no one knows how to love. Everyone is emotionless when push comes to shove. Desire switched up like when dropping the clutch. Lost your grip so much that you ran out of luck. As you know, time doesn't tolerate excuses. Lessons are learned and some with bruises. Careless and ruthless, actions somewhat stupid. Compress the thoughts until your conscious is like, who's this? Flick off the demons like a cigarette. Controlling the stress will have its benefits. Cherish every second, even if it feels useless, or else you'll dread and discomfort like those who reminisce. Eating a few gummies, but just for the effects. How can one not when life is this complex? Everything on wheels is different from one another. The beauty of nature is revealed during summer. Souls are lost like a forest undiscovered. Keep your expectations low like the rifle of a hunter. Russia considers the US an enemy state. If things were to escalate, we have to bail, and that's no debate. History has taught us that with violence, bullets only fuel the hate. More bodies fall depending on who can shoot straight. Tears will flow like rivers for the widows who carry the weight. Graveyards store the dead, but everyone has a taste. I have written my final poem just in case we have a horrifying update, because we all know they can press the button whenever they feel it's appropriate. Boeing is looking the other way while silencing a few whistleblowers. 2 down, a dozen left, and that's it. It's over. A government protect a company without a disclosure, ignoring regulations because that's what they prefer. Their stock continues to rise, which is absurd. I have puts on them, but no profit returns. The world is aware of their flaws, but no lawyer can observe. The CEO is resigning. Why is that not a concern? This is America, I guess. That's what we deserve. If we get what we want, we will die overworked. Stress can make the body more sensitive to pain. Don't lose yourself over things we can't explain. Take a breath and maybe we can remain sane. Life is a bitch, but on occasion you can't complain. Pause for a moment because you might not have the chance to. Reflecting your choices, but from a different pair of shoes. Respect is running low, leaving people cold and bruised. Karma goes missing the same day you feel abused. America is not what it used to be. You can't go grocery shopping anymore without feeling miserable with what you receive. Success will be reflected through effort. At least that's what I used to believe. I bled for most of the things I achieved. suffocating on nothing. So why is it difficult to breathe? Working forever to buy a house just to feel complete, holding on to faith during moments of defeat. And here we are in the same bubble, paralyzed in disbelief. Thank you.
You see? If you weren't gonna be a dad, damn it, I'd yell at you something serious, boy. Oh, mute yourself, give it up for Daniel Fernandez.
Fucking A, Daniel. I'm just gonna say this, Daniel. Gustav would be jumping up and down with joy to hear that. And you definitely, you have maintained it, and it's just great to see you back here. I wish you all the best if we don't see you again for a long time. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, he would. He would.
I mean, you are a good trouble starter, sir. And I am thankful that you took the time to find yourself back here with us. Make sure, folks, you are getting your hands on Emotional Defibrillator. That was one of those books that Gustav loved to show. Right. Anytime Daniel was on the screen, Gustav always showed his book. So I appreciate you, sir. A thrill comes natural. And then how you work with words. Right? I love it. Right? Joy is temporary, like a grudge. The value of $1 starting to feel like a quarter. Damn it. Come on. Right? Loyalty is a skill now since nobody knows how to love. Controlling the stress will have its benefits, no doubt. Right? If we get what we want, will we die over work? I've bled for what I've achieved. Proletariat versus bourgeoisie. Will. Appreciate you, sir, for what you do. It is great to see you. Love to the family. Whenever you find the chance, find yourself back here. Last person on the guarantee list, and we will get to the good luck round coming up next. I implore this cat to change his picture because in here he's still got locks on his dome. But when you see the live camera come up, he has no more locks, folks. The one and only Principe is in the building if he's still in the building. Come on, Principe. Let these folks know what's going on with you, where they can find you, man. Great to see you. Please take it away.
Thank you. I'll put my information in the chat. First poem is titled. It's not a title. There's no title to my first poem. These presidential elections are litigations for the masses. These silly bastards these silly bastards are alliterations. Each one rhyming together. We need a take 6. Reassess each pick, no matter the party. We're lost in whirlpools of snake eyes. You can debate all you want. Remember, measuring truth like it's college. Just know each party has its own. Just know each party has its origin story. Forever clenched onto history's teeth. When it's determinants for the political games. Shame, shame, shame on all of us. Every 4 years, we're playing Hangman, spelling VOTE. Are we good spellers? Yet some don't know what they're voting for, even me. History is plain to see, telling truthful tales that ring a bell. Please be all that you can be. That's the first poem. That poem is called I Am the quiet son who's never done with the world. I'm bowed in my purpose under the moon, shooting arrows of words that boom. I'm Victoria's son, the only son who recognized my mother daily. I'm somewhere between insecure and ballsy. No call me maybe, because I'm not a one-hit wonder. I'm frozen in the winter of the moment, ready to spring like clocks moving forward. I'm ready to rise like an untapped star. If I could tap the untapped potential, I'll be the star I'm meant to be. I'm losing track of time so much that my mind is in a knot while a lot is on fire. I'm allotted with long-standing youthfulness. I'm a moon, finding stability in the quietness among the wildness. This is my pen, and writing is my purpose. Sunshine gods. The sunshine gods have risen this summer. Each day, they beam down on me, even shooting a volt of energy in me. An edict from the gods who love up on myself. I don't want to surrender this electric feeling, but nature is an individualist, always doing its own thing. While I can, I will stand in the pleasure of this sweet leisure. Leisure in the writing by still, cold water, floating like silver surfer, dislocating emotions from my crown chakra. So I hate to say goodbye to what pushes me from the coziness of home to what's simple and beautiful. My New York trip was a swirl and pearl. I stayed in the Lower East Side. I seen a cluster of people enjoying the night life. I devoured wonderful food, whizzing subways in muggy, dry heat, hovered like fighter jets, impressive art grasping at my face. It was a race to get home. The sunshine gods had their way this summer. And I'll read one more poem. There's strands of deep bubbling fire. It's an inside job. What about the fire that needs cleaning? Maybe it's dirty. Cleaning sounds strange. I'm in the range, so I'm ready. There are good answers to who I am. Is there? I'd be damned if I be the son of Sam. And I am not. My DNA is burning with a good answer way. Dirty fire resides there. The dirty fire in my DNA is holding me back. Thank you.
Yo, I'm telling you, every time I hear this cat, he continues to just get better and better. The depth of his writing just continues to amaze me, man. I promise you. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Principe.
Nice.
Yeah, more. I can
Thank-
safely say your poetic powers didn't come from having a full head of hair, because you definitely are.
Not
exuding-
Samsonic in this, not
That's
Samsonite in this.
Love that. Love that aspect, no doubt about it. Right, Principe continues to work his pen, man, and I'm glad about that. You continue to work it, right? These silly bastards are alliterations. Like, come on, man. Access each pick, no matter the party. Assess each pick, no matter the party. Assess each pick, no matter the party. This is why we need poets. Every 4 years playing hangman. Come on. Come on. Like, nature is an individualist, leisure in the writing, silver surfer. Come on, man. I hate to say goodbye to the things that push me away to home or from home, right? It was a race to get home. Listen, man, you're connected to the right source. So I just implore you to continue to write from that source and stay committed and dedicated to what you're doing and how you're writing it. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Every poem that you write, you continue to get better. So keep writing. All right. On to the good luck round, folks. Coming up first, our brother all the way out on the West Coast. Shout out LA in the building. continues to come through with us, been rocking with us for some years, has been rocking with us all evening, staying dedicated to it. I'm telling you, this cat's always on point. The one and only Abraham Kamani in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, man. Always great to see you, bro. Please, take it away.
Good evening, folks. It's great to be here again. You can find me on Instagram at The Righteous Poet, spelled WRITEOUS. And you can find me on Facebook under this name right here, Abraham Kimani. So I'm going to share two, and these are on theme actually, which is not always the case. This one, I think I might have shared some months back, but I'll share it again since it's related to the theme. It's called Graveyard Shift. It is dead at night. My bones are digging for gold while buried in debt. Collectors will mourn losses of bills not fully paid off. They will never give neither a dime or a damn for my expenses. To them, forgiving a loan is an economic sin. So I must suffer as a blue-collar peon, selling my labor for what elites deem worthy. Hourly minimum wage, 50-cent pay raise twice a year, wondering how to make $1 out of a nickel and dime. The math is not adding up. Unfortunately, taxes are not going down. Food and gas is high. Personal effects are more luxurious than basic. Affordable homes are lower than scarcity. The cost of living here in the land of the free will not let me retire. By age 65, I see myself toiling to death on the floor, marking the end of being a slave to the graveyard shift. And this next one I just finished writing yesterday. It's called Honest Living. In grade school, the only class struggle I knew well was the price of attention I paid teachers to maintain the 2.0 GPA. Though it was mentally expensive, my memory bank afforded me to rise above sea level at no cost. But while in college, I accumulated D's, drowning in debt, diving for 3 degrees, just to be buried 6 figures underground. Shopping, scanning, bagging, delivering groceries for $17.50 an hour on a part-time basis as a slave to the government. The wrong G on earth to be in front of, with head bowed, hands clasped, knees bent, begging for loan forgiveness. Then I thought to myself, even if I prayed to the white G in heaven for free financial aid to wipe out the 100 plus G's I owe, would God come through, clean my credit card reports, or would he tell me to give to Caesar every dollar and cent due to him? Before God could open his mouth to answer my plea, the government rudely replied, reject the former, accept the latter. Not oddly enough, it took being in the labor force off campus to learn through experience firsthand how the class struggle is a war dominated by the rich, exploiting the poor, by controlling time and money, fluctuating every week on work schedules, on paycheck stubs, giving me little for food, for clothes, for shelter, but never enough to get high. Yet I proudly stand tall, slowly climbing up from the bottom of the ladder, pursuing my purpose here on earth, to make an honest living off my toil, reaching the peak of my morals and morale as a high-class man with a low income. That's those pieces.
And I love that juxtaposition right at the end as a high-class man with a low income. That shit was fire. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Abraham. Come on.
Yeah, I really get taken by your ability. It's very real stuff. It's not news to you. Nobody has to tell you that. But I really like, you're in this whole tradition of taking a lens and focusing so precisely on these realities. And the way you do it makes these poems very, very powerful and poignant.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, your work is like you're really letting us, it's really intimate, you're letting us in, and that can be a scary thing to do, but you're doing it with like grace and style and poetic craft. And, I feel really lucky to be there on the other side as your listener and reader. I think
I
it's
appreciate it. Thank you.
gorgeous stuff.
I find myself on the same wavelength as you, Elizabeth. You do this with such, dignity
Yeah,
in those
grace and
poems.
dignity. Yes.
Listen, listen, man. I told y'all from the jump, this is the greatest community in the world. And here we are, nearing the end of the evening, and your contemporaries are still focused and alert enough to tell you in our almost third hour of the evening how much they appreciate the work that you produce. And on some new shit, right? This isn't cultivated years ago. This is on some new shit, right? Listen, that graveyard shift poem, that's heavyweight, sir. Right? Buried in debt, right? He said, collectors mourn the losses never collected. Right? Wondering how to make $1 out of a nickel and dime. Yeah, that's just the poor people's lifestyle. Affordable homes are lower than scarcity, marking the end of being a slave to the graveyard shift. If you're lucky for some. The price of attention I pay teachers in the second piece. Will God come through, clean my credit reports? Controlling time and money. I think that's woo. Take care. Never enough to get high, right? They give you just enough to survive, never enough to get high. Appreciate you, Abraham, for what you do, man, and for rocking with us this evening, man. For real, all the way on the West Coast. Truly, truly appreciate you. Coming up next, Mom in the building. Elizabeth Horan continues to come through. And listen, we make sure we make space for her because she has a whole mom duty to do, right? And we see her early on in the show and she's moving around and she's, you know what I mean, all over doing a thing. And then the sun comes down and she's able to focus. And we're glad that we're able to capture all of that energy. The one and only Elizabeth Horan in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Always great to see you. Please take it away.
Thank you very much. I'd like to read a few from a book I wrote like during COVID, and it's called Apple, and it's based on songs by Fiona Apple. So it's like ekphrastic in the sense that I would like listen to her songs, one of her songs, and then create a poem that would mirror it and interpret it between her and I, kind of having like a internal dialogue. So, okay, thank you. This one is called Make Your Move. Love. I used to love the way your fingernails ran like tracks over my skin. Each time I came, you went farther, deeper. The wounds, a diary of you, my flesh, a punch to the gut. I now know this is not real love. I should not have to fear your tongue, your touch. You demote me. In my head, just a friend. I despise friends. I reap nothing. My shriveling face blue, blackened torso, the red velvet scars, crimson forked tines, evidence for now. The only gift you ever gave me. I open a vein, I watch. How the azure drip flashes to fire when it hits air, as it drips like loss, brave testimony, or my elbow. Thank you. I was a little nervous. I'm sorry I stumbled a little bit there. This one is called deep breath. Desideratum, noun, something which is needed or wanted. And my intro to it says, on a Joplin trip. Winding a string around my finger, oh yeah, sweetest hues and blue of addiction, of love, of words, pastel baby, what's the point? Little girl pink tastes like anger to me. I need nothing but satin feelings. I understand nothing, the presence of my body floating away. Sweet death or dream of candy boy, illicit shame. Overjoyed you still want me, hate me, love me. Have you tied me up yet? This game of escaping. String around your finger, throat. Bring me the thrusting and the forced love, something I needed or wanted. Who can say but you in this moment? Starry sky of a mind a melting, swaying, running in fingertip smudges, stroking the hibiscus pearl, fleeing the thing you made me. I am a puddle, or I am art. And I'll stop there at 3 minutes. Thank you all so much.
Whoa, hold on. What, am I puddle? Am I art? Whoa, that's heavyweight, man. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Elizabeth.
Wow, I like the great juxtapositions you make in one line. It's almost surreal the way you're working those images, but they strike such great moods.
Thank you.
And it brings to me, it brings about to me images of a incredibly masterful, crazy writer by the name of Stephen King. And that particular, what you said, how you were writing, it reminded me of a story called Rose Matter. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it reminds me of that particular story. It's pretty interesting. Make your in your first poem, Make Your Move, you said you demote me. And I love how you put that in a position of ranking people, right? And then the red velvet scars. I love that, right? In the second piece, the sweetest hue of blue of addiction, fleeing the thing that you made me. That's what it reminded me of. When you went into that piece, all of that went together. But when you said, fleeing the hue, right? Fleeing the thing that you made me, right? The sweetest hue of blue. Like, you have to read it and you'll understand why that line connected to me in the book, in Rose Matter, because it's very, very significant of how you put that together like that. But incredible poem, as always. Thank you for balancing your time and hanging out with us and doing what you do and sharing it with us. We truly appreciate you. All right, coming up next, Zach Prater in the building. Listen, been rocking with us this evening, been holding it down. Listen, looking forward to what you are going to share with us. What does it look like, right? After all this time you've been rocking with us, hey, welcome to the greatest community in the world. Tell us where in the world you are rocking in from.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate everything. You are amazing. You're a great host too. Everyone's writing's been really good. I tried to find fit in the theme, but you have to give me a little artistic liberty. Okay, that's it. Hey, ready? Here I go. Beginning of my life, acres, tractors, trucks, apple bin and sprinkler at dusk, pear slices cut by a farmhand pocket knife, middle of day, tailgate, latch flipped, weight of it makes rattle thud. Lunch whistle, signify a day half done. Ran and hopped up, lunchtime in the back of the work truck. Baseball hat sweaty, tip it up. Wipe face with shirt, dad sits down, truck sinks and squeaks, a sigh let out. Think to myself, one day I'll be big and strong. Dad, like he's been swimming. Shirt clings to body, a white shirt now brown. I don't recall exactly, but it had purple writing. Faded and stretched. Probably some free shirt. Charity event. And today stripped off, straight in the washing machine. No need to report hours. That shirt is proof that man has worked all morning. Probably won't stop till night. Unpacks couple sandwiches, plastic baggie, store-bought cookie, Chips Ahoy. Old Coors cooler. Faded even then, packed by mom a guess because if dad made it, be soggy bread. Excess mayo, slices of ham, pre-cut and wrapped slices of Kraft cheese, or maybe his favorite, bologna and butter spread thick, a thick quilt on bed laying on top of a thin mattress. Dad wouldn't have bothered with bag. Probably would throw Chips Ahoy directly in truck. I was trying to be like him. Work till tired, man of word, say kind things, help those in need, mimic the way, adjust his hat. It's always tilted slightly left. Orange canteen, carried on his back. Now it's leaned up, it's sitting in his lap. Wish I could talk to him how we talked back then. Need advice from that man, not the one carrying years of guilt on an already sore back. The one that I looked up to. Lift the house if he wanted to. Wouldn't quit until he had to. Still wake up next day and yell, rise and shine. About time you get out of bed. More work to do. Up and at him. I would tell him, Dad, modern office, it's not made for men like you. Give me a break. Everything I learned came from long talks after long days of work. Always disappointed. I couldn't keep up. Still could sing every Beach Boys song, only cassette in that old truck. Trust me, Dad. I do what you said. Difference is, it's all HR, and I don't think you'd call any of these guys men. Hey, you raised the cowboy. Don't take it back. It's just that society changed. It's not spit and hand and shake. It's lawsuits and HR claims. It's whispers behind closed doors. No one does contracts on the back of napkins anymore. You wouldn't believe it. My boss didn't even pay for lunch. I'm walking around like, dang, I'm not in the orchard anymore. Click old boots twice. Take me home. Drive that John Deere tractor sitting on your lap. Sunset and still irrigation lines to move. Believe me, I'll work hard. Anything better than boring meetings and chugging beers in a bathroom stall.
That's how you talk that shit, folks. That just so you know, that's how you talk that shit. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Zach. Right?
Yeah.
That was wonderful.
That was crazy.
That's some real shit, to talk about, dad and work and life and really bring it and do it with craft and style and verve. I mean, I appreciate that about you. I think that's awesome. Thank you.
I like your short lines. Familiar with that from your last appearance here. And I haven't quite got a handle on your delivery, your tone of voice, but it really is compelling.
Yeah, his meter, right? His meter is mad like squid, like a cephalopod. Like you never know which angle it's gonna come at you with. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that because you hear the multiple hearts beating at the same time as he's doing it, right? So you got to remember, like, where our intrinsic tone may be that one heartbeat, that one tone, right? What Zach sounds like is he's got a couple, he's got a few. You know what I mean? that shit is proof that man has worked, right? He talked about his dad's sweaty ass shirt. No doubt. A thick quilt of bread on a thin mattress. Right? Listen, there's something about some old school cats, right? The bread is this big, the meat is like this big, and they're satisfied, right? Like it's got, like you said, a big whole heap of butter on it, a couple of pieces of meat, a big ass pieces of bread, and they go to sleep satisfied, right? That's old school hardworking cats. So I appreciate you, sir, for sharing your dad with us and that hardworking spirit with us as well, right? Because he has passed that hardworking spirit onto you in the way that you write your poems, right? There was no laziness in that work. So I appreciate you for keeping your pops's work ethic alive. Truly, truly appreciate you. Make sure you continue to come back, man. That's that work that we need, but also that's the work of our craft, right? We have a great time writing about, shadows and rainbows and whatever, you know what I mean? The Olympics. But that is the work. So I appreciate you. We got 3 poets left, right? 3 poets. Storm God's in the building, Storm Lake is in the building, and we're gonna make room for her, right? Shout out Jersey in the building. Listen, the Trinity is here. Like, yo, it's crazy. All right. So before we get to our closers, coming up next, this cat was like, yo, I got something that's on my chest and I got something on my heart that I need to make sure I rip. And I'm always about that life, right? So you have been rocking with us this evening. You have been, right, involved in the essence and the energy that we have been conjuring and creating this evening. Let these folks know where they can find you. First of all, welcome. Second of all, you're in the greatest place in the world to be right now. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. I'm glad that you're comfortable enough and fearless enough to share your work with us. Please, take it away.
Thank you. Can we all hear me? Okay. Thanks for having me. I feel very grateful to be here. I wrote this one night. I was very angry. It was around Easter, and I was angry about what I was seeing in the church. So if you don't mind, I will share. God, you sat with me, took my heart, and spoke to me with haste. You reminded me of your words. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. Also, it is not good that this man shall be alone, so I will create a helper for him. So, God, many try to open their hearts to you, yet remain closed off to companionship and fellowship. Your son was humiliated, bound and tortured, mocked by his peers, and abandoned by his disciples. Yet he returned 3 days later with yet more love in his heart to prepare the kingdom before ascending. His most valuable lesson was that no matter what life throws at us, to keep our hearts open, for we witnessed your deeds on Job. God, you healed us by showing us our own desire. You made us ask for healing when you said, "Seek and ye shall find." But we mute our desire and replace it with things, ambition, money, media, in order to remain secure. I wonder why sudden ailments, and confusion become rampant. God, there is a masquerade of fellowship surrounding the church, a masquerade. 2 people sit next to each other and are worlds apart. But you taught us that the kingdom exists in our hearts. Without an open heart, there is no kingdom. You said, It is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom. His heart is closed off to love and open to money. And the church, the heart is closed off to love because it is instead focused on administration, titles, buildings, and protection from scrutiny. Two separate services begin and let out at the same time. Members of one congregation will not speak to the other. God, I must dust off my feet and go from this town. As your doorway, my heart to the kingdom has been invalidated. God, I am a person with a soul. By men and women, I am sometimes seen as a collection of arms, legs with a head, mysteriously holding up clothes. My heart is not given care. My soul is disregarded. But God, you had love for me before I was even a thought by man. I cannot sing in a church service. You have made it clear. It is a physical act to fill a man-made gap. It is not calling to me in any sort of ministry of love or fellowship. They call upon me when there's a vacancy. They call upon me for support and advice, but my heart is not given care. My services are wanted, but I am merely a consequence. I deserve to be put out on the lampstand. My friendships deserve to be seen out on the lampstand. You said, as long as I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. God, I am not with those choosing shadows, using deceit to maintain convenience. God, I am not with those praying from the script rather than their hearts, going through the motions of worship as a marionette version of one of your creations. This is how it appears from the pews, the pulpit, the back office, anywhere in a building we can try to hide to justify our watered down regard as real. Hear me, God, I feel worlds apart. Please sit close to me, meet me at eye level. Remind me again that I am as you knit me together with your word. Amen. Thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I truly do. Unmute yourself, give it up for Buttonwood Tree.
Here's the thing for me, Derek. Part of this poem, at least, is a conversation with the Christian God, but it's in this poem which really becomes a kind of conversation with us, the audience, and it does take courage to speak of that kind of faith. That's not an easy thing to do.
Not at all, especially when it's such an ominous figure in our society, right? There's no escaping the religious aspect of American culture. So when you approach that from that, it can be tough, but it needs to be said, right? I will create a helper for him, right? And I love how you started from the very beginning of it, right? And you told the entire story, right? More love in his heart, keep our hearts open, witness his deeds on Job. No doubt about that. For the folks who don't know the story of Job, that happened in 1 year. There is a masquerade of fellowship in the church. I got a friend of mine. Shout out Ross. Shout out Cara. Listen, that's a rough one. That's a tough one. A masquerade of fellowship. That's a tough one. But I absolutely love that line because it's challenging what people believe to be necessary for a connection with a higher power or an omnipotent being. God, I am a person with a soul. I am not with those choosing shadows. I really appreciate that. Thank you for what you do. Continue to come through and share your work with us. It's necessary, and I appreciate you. All right, 2 folks left, and I'm gonna let Storm Lake come in here and storm it first. So check it out. This incredible artist, a world traveler, also a guest host on this very platform. I am an avid watcher of nature shows, and I saw an animal recently, and the commentator said a name for said animal, and I said, "Hey, I know him. He wrote Guanaco Binge." And it was, and I was like, "Yo, I haven't seen this cat in so long." And you know why? Because he's been spanning the globe as just an incredible human being, because he is just that guy. The one and only Matthew Model King is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, Matty. It's been too damn long, damn it, but it's great to see you, man. Really, please take it away.
Right? Y'all, I started the poetry thing on the Thursday night New Year open mic. I didn't start it, let's say, but that's where like my like propellers really started, you know, spinning, and I really started taking off. So now you know I'm in Jersey. I work with the New York Poets Cafe with Paul, with like Elemen2al there too, and we're out there doing it in the ground. So it's whole thing. There's my Insta. I'm gonna do 2 shorter ones. I saw the thing was cost and money and stuff like that, so I have one for my 30 for 30 first year I ever actually did the whole thing. I read a poem and then I wrote a poem based off of that, and so I just searched for the word cost and money, and this is what came up. It's based off of Jesus on the Iron Cross by Jim Daniels, 4/27/24. One of the hardest working students I knew of in high school had a last name that has long since left the tornado mascot vortex of my memory. He was an ESL student, along with many others who had just immigrated here. I was told by his teacher he would have been great at sports. He could probably be the fastest on the team if he had put in the effort, but there was no time. He worked at the local grocery store, stocking items at 5 a.m. before school and mopping and stocking and doing whatever cost the least amount of words off lips. He had to, for his family would not be able to keep lights on for him or his younger siblings if he didn't take on the role of provider. So he worked and worked and worked. And honestly, I have no clue what happened to him. I don't recall his name and barely remember his face, but I'm sure that he's still working and providing, still doing all the things expected of him from this country. I hope his burdens have lessened since that time. I hope he has found peace and love and can work less for even more reward. I'm rooting for you. Always will. Always will. All right, that's the first one. The second one's a shorty, so we'll just do that. Also from whatchamacallit, this 30 for 30, because you know we out here doing the 30 for 30 things. I gotta scroll up. Here it is. It's based off of O. It's like an O with the 2 like dots over it. I don't know what that's called. I know it has a name, but I forgot. By Rita Dove, or 11/24. Also, just for reference, my name is Maroquin. QU makes a K sound. QU sounds like a K off the tongue. Every tilde is respected. Parts of last name slides off colonized tongues from brown bodies make skyscrapers feel like childhood fields. Wind blows off lake just a little warmer, and busy honking roads could be geese flying over tractors crunching down gravel. If concrete were to suddenly sprout corn covered in mayonnaise, y queso, y chile, we wouldn't be amazed. Just full and whole. And all who eats its kernels would pronounce our last names right. Sometimes one doesn't know they have roots until their wilting petals bloom again with just a drop of a word. All right. Thank you. My name is Matthew Marroquin. You can find me at Vita_Marroquin. It's in the chat. I'll talk to y'all later. And I'm going to give it up to Elemen2al to bring up the roomie.
You know what I mean? Like this dude just does that. Unmute yourself, get it up.
I know him.
About time you came back.
All right, Josuke, it's been a minute.
Yo, give with the. We love it.
And listen, the next two cats, listen, and usually when folks don't come around for a while, I yell at them. But here's the reason why you won't hear me yell at the next two cats, aka Matthew Marroquin and Paul Conqueso. One, Matthew Marroquin is actually out there fighting for things that are beyond flesh. Like Matthew Marroquin is in Vegas, he's in Texas, he's in Jersey, because he's helping people fight diseases. He's helping people fight world causes that are human, right? Like, I don't care what you think you are, what you say you are, what a doctor says that you can be. Matthew Marroquin is actually out there helping human beings. And I appreciate you for doing that, right? And the beauty of it is this incredible human being, this incredible poet and writer and performer, right? And I saw you at NJ Pack. Shout out NJ Pack. Shout out Evolute Culture. For real. Like, I saw y'all getting down, man, and I love to see you on that stage, Maddie. Like, that's exactly where you're supposed to be, man. I fucking love it. I fucking love it, Maddie, for real. And I love to see that you're bringing your 30 for 30s. First of all, shout out all the poets who are in the 30 for 30 club, right? This year was my 10th year going 30 for 30. And it is bananas. Trust me, it could be a daunting task in the beginning, but I implore every single poet under the sound of my voice to take up the 30 for 30 challenge. It will truly, truly enhance you as a writer, as a poet, as a creative being. Maddie, you know, what you do, sir, doing whatever costs the least amount of words off lips. Like, come on, man. Still doing all the things expected of him from this country. I'm rooting for you, always rooting for you. Right? In the second piece, right? My skyscrapers feel like childhood fields. Pronounce our last names correctly. How about that? How about we starting in with that? Right? Right? Because Matthew, listen, Maddie just mentioned a story, and I'm not going to get into the details, but Maddie started with a story that he started right here, and his name was mispronounced. And that is what set it off, right? And I understand that too. When your name is not necessarily pronounced the way that your mom and them say, things change. But we understand that Matty Ice, hashtag Storm Lake in the building, Marroquin is 100% the truth. Appreciate you, Maddie, for real. If you're not aware of who Maddie is, make sure you are connecting with Guanaco Beans. Also, shout out El Salvador. This dude, he's incredible, for real. Love that dude. Love that dude. All right, closing us out this evening, a host extraordinaire, an incredible artist. I said shout out the educators. He is one of those cats. Storm God's in the building. This cat's always incredible with whatever he does, whether he's on the stage, whether he's on a microphone. Trust and believe, you're going to feel it. The one and only Paul Conqueso is in the building. Been too long, Fuego. But again, I can't yell at him because he's an educator. He's an educator, right? And the world needs more educators, man. For real.
Feels good. Feels good.
Thank you for coming through. Listen, we are always blessed by what you do, folks. Let these folks know where they can find you. Please.
You can follow me at the @ below, at Paul Conqueso, or at the New York Poets Cafe. I'm gonna be in the BX hosting a karaoke this Saturday. Tomorrow I'm gonna be in Newark at the Cryout Cave featuring. I got a feature tomorrow night, so I'm gonna sling some fresh paint at y'all. Excuse the very fresh paint, but I heard Zomconto's very fresh paint. Shit was inspiring. I'm gonna do like my brother, L always does, and just give y'all the new. Much love to everybody in the room. All of the new tried and trues that I love. Is great to be back with y'all. Yeah. Storm God fucking business. Storm Gods is in the building. This piece literally I finished in the room today, and I wrote all of this today. So forgive it if it's a little rough. The Dark Knight. I ain't Batman, but I be in the cave crying out, suspended upside down. No cowl, no cape, only vowels and profound truths I confess to as I profess on stage. And yeah, I got many layers like an onion, see. Any dark night I can dual identity, but it ain't code switch nor alias. Godly as I be, I'll split a heathen's lip for talking shit. Give him hay fever quick, but we ain't Christian bailing shit. Deep voice gone gravelly. Don't get it twisted. This is no villain era. I'm in my healing era. Something like what would happen if Bruce Wayne got his shit together and went to therapy. Instead of bludgeoning mentally ill individuals, yeah, this my vindicated vigilante, turning community to family and flooding streets with hope, cause I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that dealer in the alley, I'm your pusher man. Slinging hugs over drugs. See what occurs when poets in the bricks attend therapy sessions and ignite people's open mics, but don't take me light, I might just be elite as a marksman with my pen. Each line I scribe might snipe you. Put a blade out, Wesley Snipes you. But unlike dude who tried to headshot Donald Trump, I won't miss. The point is, anyone within earshot will get hit till slump, body stuffed in the trunk, just to get NJ Turnpike dumped like Sopranos. Put a gabagool out and do this with my hands, cause I can speak in italics. Woke up this morning, got yourself a gun. But my entire existence is one. Watch me open mouth and steady phalanges as I pull my blicky, I mean, big round stick grip out the stash box and crash out. Yeah, y'all want to be all-stars, but I'm smash mouth. Recognize we do not do this for clout nor stain. We build communities, not names. We transmute our pain into art like gladiators. It's giving Maximus, are you not entertained? As World Wrestling, quite effectively, I've been digging graves. So if I be Undertaker, you be Kane igniting flame. And if I'm Batman's back, you're Bane. Only I'm not night falling. This time, my spine is titanium. Cranium full of geraniums, watch them blow, might be deranged as Doctor Strange in Arkham Asylum. I am far more man who laughed than killing jokes still. My quill's so undeniable. Filled till it spills demonic vitriol, so much so it might kill the Pope. Like Luke, you know we force new hope, but in high contrast, y'all so Britney Spears toxic. I just laugh at y'all trying to trauma bond. See, I'm at peace, get my Dalai Lama on. Any day I want, I can meditate and astral travel to ancestral plane, get that talking to my mama on. I asked my ascendant who I descended from if she proud of me. She said undoubtedly. Her palitos de mariscaras made it out the heat, then ran back in the inferno to save whoever he could. Like my grandfather who died in a southward blaze, but my middle name Lewis was for the truest. My uncle whose etymology means famous warrior. See, that's what I came from, a line of bringing euphoria more than the tumor in Tio's brain. You bitches lame. If you think I'm playing, I'ma hit pause in this shit and make it skip, make it skip, make it skip like speech impediment like a tick. And yet you bloodsuckers the ones giving out Lyme's disease like try me please. I swear I'll be the reckoning my ancestors attested me to be. No Ron or test, you see, I'll be meta world peace instead of raging machines. No malice and palace, I might swing, but I rebound just as callous as Ben Wallace or Rashid camped at the 3, cause the piston's pumping, this heart be V8, and you can't hurt a man who can't wait for the day he reaches pearly gates. Cause I know that they, and by they, I mean my angels have been waiting for me and will welcome me with open wings. Now, how the fuck can you stunt on a man who would welcome death? I know I'm a god and I got no sense left of fear nor threat. I have become the night, so dark it might onyx deep vanta black you out, but don't you see? Without the black, the white just don't sit right. Thus I accept the yin within the yang in me, knowing I can't be a being of light unless I embrace all of me, most especially the dark in me.
This cat's so dark side. Oh my goodness. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Paul Coqueso.
What?
I'm
Like
pinching
you wrote that
myself.
today? How do you write that in like today? And
That's a
then
short one
come
for
and
Haley.
perform that tonight. That's crazy to me.
Storm God business.
Jesus.
I was about to say that.
No,
Well,
I honestly, just like we're always just absorbing shit, and there's a lot of us who we write drafts and then drafts become scraps, and those scraps instead, I just literally sometimes I'm like, oh, I had this really dope verse or I had this really dope stanza and I ain't done something with that, so let me kind of Frankenstein patch. But also we just
Yeah.
we just
And
go in.
even
We
just
just go in.
describing how you do it, you're like rapping in verse right then. So yeah, that's
Thank you.
different.
Thank you.
You bet.
I'm
Yeah.
pinching myself. I'm here with Elemental and Paul Queso. I feel like it's New Eurekan 2021, you know?
Right, right. Matthew Michael King in the building, plus it's on Konto, Abraham Kamani here,
Joski.
and Joski C's here, right?
Julian dropped in.
Julian, Catman.
Like it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
You extremists, you just wound my heart with a monotonous pleasure.
Yeah, I still owe you a collab, Skiff. I'll never forget. I will not forget.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh my.
Let's make it happen.
Listen, you may need to do that from space because I don't know if there's enough oxygen on Earth to hold on to that one. For real. For real. Oh my goodness. And listen, folks, the last two poets, they're in the same basic vicinity. Like, and I don't know how the world can even hold on to that. I really don't. Right? I don't know how New Jersey is big enough to hold on to a Storm God and Storm Lake. For real. Like I'm so very serious. Oh, and look, see how they double up on them? These cats are incredible. Shout out Maruki. Shout out Paul Queso. Shout out Evolution Culture. Shout out Jersey. Shout out Newark, New Jersey. Listen, it is so heavyweight to see y'all. So much work to put in what you do, man. I'm your pusher, man. Like I love what you do, man, because you give every fiber of your being to your work, right? Igniter of people's open mics. Yeah, pull a blade out, Wesley snipe you. Like I love that, right? Want to be all-star, but we smash mouth. It's giving Maximus, are you not entertained? Right? My spine is titanium, right? Far more than Killing Joke. I love that. Get my Dalai Lama on, right? I'll be meta world peace instead of rage against the machine. Come on. Without the black, the white just don't sit right. Sorry. Appreciate you, Fuego. Appreciate y'all for coming through and hanging out with us this evening, man. For real. Like, I appreciate y'all for coming and setting complete and total fire to the end of the night. Like, y'all shouldn't be such fucking strangers, man, because y'all are bananas. For real. Like y'all are bananas, man. And I'm so thankful that you're continuing with the level of poetry that you and I, the three of us, have worked on before. That, all the effort and the energy that we continue to put into this work. I'm so thankful to hear all of that exuberance still coming through in your work. So I appreciate you. I love y'all for doing what you do. To every single poet who ripped this evening, I love y'all so much, right? From the opener in Eddie Foreman to the closer in Paul Queso and every Elizabeth and Matthew Marroquin and Joski C in between. Thank you so much. Shout out Julian Matthews, who just came in the building. Truly appreciate you. Listen, it has been another great evening of what we do and how we do it. You make this work, folks, right? I have the greatest job in the world to be able to rock with the greatest community in the world. Shout out RMT for all he does, for all he does, for all he does, for all he does to keep us connected and keep us rocking the way we do, man. Thank you, Ron. Shout out the BX in the building. Shout out Newark, New Jersey. Shout out Seattle in the building. Listen, all these incredible people, thank you so much for what you do. Connect with the New Eurekan Post Cafe and everything that we do. Connect, get yourself some merch representing your part of the world. I truly appreciate y'all. I'll see you next week. We're going to end the night like this until we meet again. May this energy we conjured this evening supercharge the rest of your week. Take this power, inspire others, energize creativity as we all hope to do through the spirit of Miguel Agarin. Your voice is appreciated, necessary, and always valuable in this space. Thank you for sharing it with us. On behalf of the greatest community in the world, it has truly been a pleasure spending Thursday night with y'all. Joski's got a feature tomorrow night. Make sure you plug in. Slam Jam is happening. Chaos Magic is happening on Monday. So much shit going on, y'all. Until next week, peace and blessings.